I'm Kerry Rosenblum with Rosenblum Realty, and it's football season again, and that means I'll be giving away $50 cash to one lucky Toni and Gary listener each week.
The Toni and Gary SEC Football Pick'em Contest. Find out more online at ToniandGary.com and listen weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. here on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Stand by 3.
You got those monkeys ready? Where's the midget?
Prime the board.
Are you ready? A, is the laugh button working?
Good, all right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. What the? Oh, I'm sorry. I was standing on this wire. My bad.
It's the WBHP Morning Show with Toni and Gary.
Well, it's 5:03 on the morning show. Welcome in. It's Super Prize, Big Prize Giveaway Thursday. And Toni is gone. She's still in Orlando, I assume. I haven't heard from her. But I would still be down there. It's supposed to be kind of pretty down there, but they had like 30 and 40% chances of rain every day. So she left this beautiful weather that we've got up here for rain and hotter weather down there. Look over there to the weather, Ms. Moss. So we have in studio Mayor Paul Finley, Madison Mayor Paul Finley.
Good morning, Corey.
And listener Wayne Blocker, who was with us yesterday.
Yeah, learned a lot yesterday.
And yes, you did. And listener Jimmy Boy is here too.
Morning.
Now I have to ask a question because we had this conversation yesterday. Is Boy your last name?
Yes, it is.
Okay, B-O-Y?
B-O-Y.
Oh, there you have it. I thought that was right. Thought it was your last name. And then, of course, my wife is here answering the phones. Thought we'd look at the weather. It's 55 outside. That's pleasant.
Oh, it feels great out there this morning.
I'm so glad for fall.
Yes.
But we're looking for mostly sunny skies today, only 73 for the high. That's awesome. That's
Love it.
open the door weather.
Love it. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Then tonight, partly cloudy, 50. Partly sunny on Friday, 74. And then we start to warm up again a little bit starting Saturday. Sunny, 78. On Saturday, sunny 83 Sunday, sunny 84 Monday, and sunny 86 Tuesday, sunny 86 Wednesday. I wish I hadn't gone that far.
Yeah, it sounded so good for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did. All right, well, at least we're getting a little hint of fall. And then if we'll click over to our hurricane forecast, we've got a tropical storm. Scroll down a little bit. I can't see you, my dear. A little bit more if you can go. There we go. So tropical storm Matthew has formed out in the Caribbean, or down in the Caribbean. Right now, Matthew is just south of Puerto Rico, and it's headed west at the moment at 16 miles an hour, 65 mile an hour sustained winds. They're saying that tomorrow morning by 2 a.m. it's going to be a hurricane. Okay, and they've got the track headed pretty much due west until Sunday when it's going to hang a right. And when it does, it's going to make a beeline towards, scroll up just a little bit, dear, up.
Cuba,
and maybe Jamaica. And then, depending on its track, it could hit the Keys, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. At the moment, it shows it going towards the Bahamas, but we never know. So, hurricane tomorrow morning, and possibly Monday morning hitting Jamaica and Haiti, and Tuesday morning, Cuba, looks like. So, there you have it. Tropical Storm Matthew.
So Toni should be out of Orlando by the time it gets that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would hope so. She's supposed to be back Tuesday. And I certainly hope that happens.
Not that you're counting or anything, right?
No, I'm not counting down or anything. Well, how's everything with you guys?
For us, it's good.
Madison Mayor Paul Finley, when did you take back over?
I don't take back over till November 7th.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah. So, of course, in any of the municipal elections, we had the regular election August 23rd. And then if there's any runoffs, which in Madison there's 2 for city council seats, that's next Tuesday. So for anybody who is in District 1 or District 7 in Madison, you get to vote again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were already sitting in the big chair.
Well, they're kind of like dog years, So you just I won't hurry to get in there.
Right.
Each one seems like 7, but no, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And in Madison, a big day on Saturday. It's our street festival.
Oh.
And for anybody who has never been to the Madison Street Festival, Saturday, especially with the weather going to be like it is, it may be one of the best we've ever had. So historic downtown Madison starts at 9 o'clock with a parade and goes all the way till 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh. Cool.
Great. If you have kids,
something for the weekend.
It's all free. There's plenty of kids' activities. Last year, Home Depot had a big old area where the kids could build stuff or paint stuff. There's usually a car show. There's all kinds of crafts.
Wow.
And plenty of food.
Home Depot. Well, I'm there. Home Depot and Lowe's, they both do a very good job at helping out with kids and doing little art projects and crafty projects. My 5-year-old at the time was in Head Start program last year. He's in kindergarten at Tanner High School this year. Kindergarten in Tanner High School. And I know that makes no sense.
No.
Yeah.
It's a different building, I think. But anyway, doesn't matter. His class actually went to Lowe's in Athens for a little crafty project. They planted flowers and decorated the flower pot. Thank you, Fallon. And it's a hard word for me to remember. Pot. Flower pot. I can't move to Colorado, could I?
No, you.
So looks like overnight we had a spending bill passed, a stopgap spending bill. Just as it has been the whole time Barack Obama's been in office, it only kicks the can down the road a few months. However, this year, I'm not so disappointed in that because I want to make sure that the Democrats can't force a shutdown during an election year and blame it on us, the Republicans, the conservatives. Yeah. But it was, barely, so that they had to have it done by tomorrow at midnight, and they got it done last night. So a couple of days. Somebody said, with only a couple of days left, and I thought, well, 2 days before the deadline? That's early in this Congress.
Oh, ahead of schedule. Yeah.
No kidding. And I got several stories to talk about. Also, the president got overridden yesterday. His veto was overridden. Oh, I love it. I love it when he gets overridden.
Is that the first time in 8 years?
That's the first time it's ever happened, yeah. Well, because everybody's so bipartisan, so partisan in Congress these days. The Democrats would cover for him no matter what he was doing. You know it?
Well, that's one, and the other is they really haven't passed much for him to go ahead and veto, or
Well, that's true too.
They
haven't done a whole lot. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So the bill is for 9/11 victims, their families, to sue Saudi Arabia and other, I'm assuming other countries too that were involved with 9/11. We know the Saudis were.
Right.
So there was one lone vote for the president. Can anybody guess who that was?
Harry Reid.
Harry Reid. When does he get out of there? Good grief, it can't come quick enough. I'm surprised, just anyway. We'll save that till later.
You talk about the ultimate don't leave your wingman.
No
I mean, when
kidding.
it's, 98-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really have taken that to heart, haven't you?
No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been ugly. I mean, just straight out ugly. Remember Mitt Romney, all the stuff he said about Mitt Romney, which worked, with his taxes, saying, well, there's something in there if he hasn't released his taxes, and he's tried that with Donald Trump.
Well, he kind of feels like he's got an extended life. I mean, Harry Reid in his last election absolutely should not have won, and yet he found a way, whether that's hard work, whether that's building alliances. So where he's probably feeling like he should be sitting home on the couch right now, he's got a second life, and he's using it to everything it's needed for.
Well, since then, his brother tried to put him on the couch, beat him up.
Yep.
Oh, no, we don't know for sure that happened. He said it was an exercising accident. One of those rubber rings popped off and popped him in the eyeball.
Yeah.
That's why I don't exercise.
I've never had that happen to me.
It's too dangerous.
I've never had that happen to me. Of course, I've never operated anything with one of those exercise bands on it, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's go to the phone this morning, and we'll start with T. Hey, T.
Good morning.
Hey, Corey, how you doing? You and your fellows up there, y'all did a good job. Yesterday I listened to you, and who you got with you today? Mayor of Madison?
Mayor of Madison, Paul Finley.
Good morning.
Who else?
And then we got Wayne Blocker and Jimmy Boy.
Morning, T.
Hey, dog, y'all keep up the good work. Corey, I just want to get qualified here early this morning for the big prize giveaway, and I watched a little of that stuff going on in Washington yesterday, and they had the FBI director and gave him a going over about all this at him on the judicial question and everything, and he still says that down the road in the next 2 to 5 years, this country's in bad shape if they don't get something taken care of and all that stuff going across the water over in Iran and Syria and all. But and the president, he was up there in where was it? He was at yesterday in Washington. I mean, he was up there where the veterans, honoring the veterans, was praising him for. One of them was praising him for saving his life and all that stuff.
Veterans were praising Barack Obama? Did I hear you say veterans were praising Barack Obama?
Yeah, Obama's up there at the
something I never thought I'd see.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's leaving. He's headed over into the Israel. President Perez that died. His funeral's today, and he's going over there. Anyway, it was several of the veterans that was praising him yesterday, which I just couldn't believe it, some of them doing it. But anyway, you keep up the good work, and I just want to get qualified. And one other thing, I missed that tribute you had on there yesterday. I didn't hear the answer to that one. I believe Jeff had that tribute about the 30 cows and 28 chickens.
Yeah, and I don't remember how that went. Wayne, do you remember how that went? His little 30 cows and 13 chickens and how many didn't or something?
What was the difference or something?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't remember. And he carried his paper with him.
I know Miss Tony's enjoying it down there in Orlando and all. Wish I was down there in Florida getting my sinuses opened up. It's bad weather up here, but this weather's nice right now out there.
It is.
Good football weather, and I'm waiting on football games tonight, and then big game Saturday. Alabama playing homecoming with Kentucky and all. But you keep up the good work, and you've got some good fellows helping you, and you've done a good job yesterday and the day before since Tony left, and I'll keep listening to y'all, and I'll give you a roll tide, and we'll talk to you later.
Roll tide, T. Paul, I failed to ask you, what did you think about the debate on Monday night? Did you watch?
No, I did watch. Okay. And the fact that I didn't have to do it was great. Haven't done one. Yeah, so somebody else getting to do it was. If you truthfully, I felt like Hillary Clinton looked like she was prepared, focused, and did a great job of staying on point. And in typical fashion, Donald Trump hadn't really prepared. He was flying off the cuff. And at
typical
times,
Donald Trump.
Yeah, and at times sounded way too generic versus giving some specific answers that might mean something. And so, if you ask me, there was no question she won the first debate.
Right. I thought he did well the first 30 minutes or so. And
I don't disagree. And they go back to the moderator. You have every ability in a debate to say what you want to say.
Here comes some insight from someone who's been in a debate.
Yeah, I mean, and you go back to even the very first question that Hillary Clinton was asked. She didn't answer the question. She gave a 2-minute opening
statement. That's right.
Yeah. And it's kind of like when you're doing a newscast or a reporter comes and interviews us. They can ask you a question. You answer it however you want to answer it.
Sure.
And I just felt like Hillary stayed on the points that she wanted to make. And Donald Trump had every ability to jump in and bring in a Benghazi or bring in an email.
Right.
And you don't wait on a moderator and hope that they bring it in for you.
Sure. Well, right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Let's see, there's no moderator this year that I would wait to bring something up for me.
Yeah.
Not even Chris Wallace.
Yeah.
So I thought he did okay the first 30 minutes, but here's what I saw. Here's what I think I saw. The first 30 minutes, towards the end of the first 30 minutes, he was starting to get a little testy with her. He had started to raise his voice. Face was getting a little red. Then I think the only preparation he got or he did was don't lose your temper with her. And I think he knew he was about to, and he stepped back. But I think he stepped back too far. I think he went too soft
Interesting
on
insight. Yeah, I could see him starting to get a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have thought that. You're probably right. He probably was told, "Do not do."
Yeah, I think that was the number one thing for him. Don't lose your temper like you did with Little Marco and Lion Ted. Because that's going to look like you're going after a woman.
Well, but I also didn't see him at times utilize the ability to ask her, to make a statement and then ask her a question and set her up for having to answer it the way he wanted it answered.
Right.
So in stepping back, it kind of gave the flexibility for her not to really. There was no defensive, and then she could go right back on the offensive again.
Sure. And then I've also wondered, and I haven't read anything about this yet, but I've also wondered if he purposefully didn't attack her on some things in the first debate to kind of get her in the second debate to be off of her game, to think, well, Donald Trump don't know what he's doing, so I'm going to sail right through here, and then maybe he'll hit her just bam, 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 maybe in the next two debates. Maybe that's wishful thinking for me.
No, I think since the end of June 2015, when he announced candidacy and much of the country laughed, and every month it was, okay, this time he's really stepped into it. Right. Now his numbers are about to plummet, and this is all just a fad, and we've seen it with so many candidates before, but
never happened.
It never happened. Yeah. And everything seems now, if you look back, it seems to have been calculated. Trump supporters, anybody that was a Trump supporter before that debate is still a Trump supporter after that debate.
Yeah.
Anybody that was a Hillary supporter before the debate is still a Hillary supporter. It's those people in the middle.
Even though she almost had a seizure.
Right.
Did you see the shimmy, Paul?
I didn't see it.
Well, it's on the blog if you want to go see the shimmy. She
got
real close. Now, I don't know. I'm no doctor. Dr. Moss here.
Dr. Moss, yeah.
Yeah, practicing without a license. But I don't know whether it was, one of those things where it's like a nervous tick or something that maybe she's developed. Because she didn't used to do that little shimmy head bob kind of thing. I mean, it lasted maybe 3 seconds, and that seemed like eternity. With the camera on her waiting for her to say something.
But she didn't seem to have any problems with the hour and a half.
No, she didn't.
And, going back to what you were saying, I think there's a lot of Republicans right now that are hoping
something's wrong with her.
That Trump had a strategy in taking it easy on the first debate and having 2 and 3, coming out of the gate and really hitting her with some new things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just don't think that's the case.
I'm afraid
he's
right. Yeah.
To me, a squirrel. And then squirrel. Right. I mean, he'll go to whatever his mind is thinking about at that time. And again, so many times in a debate, you're trying to focus on one or two things, and you need to come at it about 2 or 3 different ways, and you're just trying to differentiate yourself as the better choice.
Right.
And I think he doesn't have to beat anybody else now other than her, and he has to take real world. I'm a great businessman. Okay, why does it? Corey goes, who cares? How does it impact me?
Right.
And I think he's having trouble transitioning at times what he's really good at and where he's going to make to where he's going to make a difference in an individual's life.
Right.
And I think if they could give him some advice, that's what I would give him, is take that business expertise is one thing. How's it going to impact the national economy?
Yeah, how are you going to apply
trickle
that?
Down to me? Yeah.
That's right. Well, it's trumped up, trickle down. That's what Hillary called it Monday night. Trumped up, trickle down. I thought that was a good line.
That's a pretty good one.
I thought it was pretty good.
Even though I think she kind of trumped up when she started talking about what reasons would he have not to release his tax return, and she went through just complete speculation with no foundation at all.
Yeah,
and I thought
she sounded like Harry Reid.
I'm sitting there going, I would have responded, "What about the 30,000 emails? Let me tell you why I think you didn't do this."
Oh, man, I was shouting at the TV with one-liner comebacks, and he never heard a word I said. And, so.
Well, I still think you go to it and go back to Nixon and say 18 minutes of blank tape.
Yeah.
Caused one president to fall. What does 30,000 missing emails do?
Nothing at the moment. It's done nothing.
Not with the journalists who are not out there.
Did y'all know that James Comey was testifying again before Congress yesterday? Some interesting things came out in that we'll talk about later as well. Let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Glad to see the mayors on there. That's a good thing. Mayor, have you taken office officially, or when did that happen?
We do. We take office Monday, November 7th. So the day before the national elections.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, unfortunately, I'm not in your district. I live in South Huntsville.
Hey, there's still time to move.
Yeah, there's houses for sale over in Madison, I'm sure.
Still time to move out there?
Yeah.
But I do drive 26 miles to go to church out there at Madison Baptist Church. So,
yeah, that's a great church.
Yeah, you ought to come visit us sometime.
Right there on Hughes?
No, it's on Balch Road.
Oh, well, okay, you're right across. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right across from my subdivision. So, yeah. That's where District 2 votes, as a matter of fact. See, I have to equate everything back to, the political side of things, right? Yeah. That's.
You get back everything tied into the election. But congratulations.
Thank you.
On the win. I know the previous mayor personally, and he was a fine fellow. And I know you all had some disagreements, but the voters spoke. So
well, and Troy has been a family friend for years. Between the Trulocks and the Finleys, our sons were really and still are good friends. My middle son and his son Matt, and Dana and Troy were really, really good to my boys and to us. And so, it's just one where we see things differently. I think we saw that role a little bit differently. That's how we positioned it. What I'm very appreciative of and feel blessed about is that we both focused on issues and didn't focus about anything else, and in turn just simply gave the voters a choice of one way or the other. And I appreciate the fact that they spoke, and we're going to go do what we said we were going to do. But yeah, Troy and Dana are just really good people, and it's nothing personal. It's just a difference in opinion.
Yeah, he supported an organization that my wife is involved in, and I hope you continue that. Is every year, my wife is from South Korea, and there's a North Alabama Korean Association that has a New Year's party, and it's usually the weekend or the Saturday after New Year's, and there's a dinner and a function, and Troy was very good in supporting that along with Mayor Battle and coming to dinner and just giving a little short speech. And I hope you continue that, and I'll be happy to give you more information off the air if you would like.
Well, and I would like, and I think that's one of the neat things that we are able to do is and again, it's almost every weekend is there'll be 2 or 3 events like that where, folks with specific areas of focus get together, and you make as many of them as you can. And in my case, the one thing that'll be a bit of a change this time is my middle son Tanner is a basketball player for UAH.
Oh wow!
And so I'm plugging in their calendar, their games, and then trying to work a calendar around it. I try to make all of them I can. But yeah. So good. Great. So yeah, by all means, please send it to the mayor's office. If you've dealt with Kim before, she's going to be there again, and if Troy got there, she can guide me there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Corey, you brought up the FBI director Comey.
Yeah.
I heard him say some comments yesterday that he apparently has listened or has heard some of the fallout from his what I want to call it to keep it civil here, but his bad decision
to say the least,
not prosecute Hillary, and he used a word, and I can't recall what that word was, but there's a lot of people that apparently have passed on to him that the FBI has really gone downhill under his leadership since he made that.
Well, I've got a couple of clips I'm going to play from that. One of them has him saying something to the effect of, if somebody in the FBI did what Hillary Clinton did, well, they'd be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Now, that's not what he said when he came out and gave his little speech. That's also not what he said in the first hearing, where Trey Gowdy raked him over the coals. So maybe he is having a change of heart. Too little, too late now, Director Comey.
Well, I can guarantee you, and Paul can appreciate this, is that I've worked in the military and as a government contractor for a total of about 45 years. And, we go through briefing after briefing every year about how to handle classified documents. And if I had done that, I'd still be in Leavenworth,
Sure. Well, all you'd have to say is, well, I don't recall. Because that's what Hillary said. I don't recall.
Yeah. I don't recall selling those secrets to the Russians.
That's right. Now, listen, my server was guarded by Secret Service agents. I mean, what else did you want me to do?
Right. They couldn't get to it. That's right. They couldn't. If they had a hammer, they couldn't hit it.
That's right.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I hear so many folks, especially here in this area, so frustrated about this because, again, they are held to a high standard when it comes to data, and to turn around and have the person who is ultimately responsible for law in the United States do that is just crazy.
It is
for us to think that that's okay, and you're watching, for the term, a cover up. You're watching, or we're abetting someone who simply decided not to go through normal channels because they wanted to cover themselves when it came to information.
It seems to me that it's obvious that it's a cover up. I mean, you look at how everything was done. There was no for her interview with the FBI, 4-hour interview. There was no audio, no video taken of it. There was only notes and some form that gives you a summary of what was said. But then you've got all this pleading the fifth from her advisors and from the IT guys. They're getting immunity for nothing in exchange. I haven't heard them tell us anything.
Right.
Usually when you give immunity, you do that so they'll rat on somebody. Well, these guys are not ratting, yet they're not getting in trouble either.
Yeah, there's usually an if-then.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point, Corey. We talked about that, weeks ago, that, they're not getting any information from Cheryl Mills or anybody of the 5 that they gave immunity to. And you would think that would be, okay, here's your immunity, start talking.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I remember getting a tingle up my leg when I heard they were getting
Cheryl
immunity.
Mills set in on Hillary's testimony to the FBI.
Now, say that again. I'm sorry. I missed most of that.
I said, I think they let Cheryl Mills sit in on that session they had with Hillary.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They sure did. And then they gave her immunity.
Yeah.
She's got immunity. The guy...
She, in essence, knew what Hillary was saying, so she could chime in and have the same answer.
That's right. Well, so she could direct Hillary in the right direction, what she needs to be saying, because, well, Hillary can't recall.
Of course, you have to have an attorney general that would actually prosecute, even if they had the evidence.
I've been waiting on Director Comey to actually come out and say, listen, even had I told the DOJ that I recommend charges, do you think it would have happened? That's what I want him to come out and say, because deep in my heart, I believe that that's why he did what he did. Either that, or they have something on him. the Clintons.
Well, I think they had something on it.
They may.
But it's like Paul. Paul, if you got in trouble doing something, and you said, "Okay, I'm going to appoint this lawyer or this person to investigate me, and I'm going to pay him to do it,"
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah,
it's nuts.
They need a bipartisan, independent prosecutor to look into that. Not somebody that's on the Obama payroll.
Well, that's the problem with getting an inspector general in this administration, a bipartisan inspector. It's because there's no such thing in this administration. They're all partisan.
No. Mm-hmm. They go way back. If you think Bill, sat on the Phoenix airport, in his plane for 30 minutes or whatever, however long it was, waiting on Lynch so that he could talk to her about his grandkids. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, seems to me like there were a bunch of
smoking guns.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like a forest fire.
I still want to know what that bulging little box was out of the back of her pantsuit on the debate. That
I still haven't. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. Lester Holt. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but what I have seen was possible signaling of the finger in the mouth to Lester Holt. I watched a video of that last night, and I mean, you could turn around and say, well, he was sniffing. Donald Trump was sniffing, and that was a signal to somebody. And I mean, I'm sure that's what would happen if somebody seriously came out and suggested she was signaling. But I got to tell you, the video I saw, and of course you can make video do anything, I guess, but It looked to me like she was signaling old Lester Holt to me.
What was she signaling him to do?
So when Trump would talk about something where she wanted to get a zinger in there on him, she would kind of take her finger and rub the side of her mouth.
Huh.
And then you could see her look when she'd do that, and then she'd cut her eyes at Lester. Now, you know, Lester's right in front of her. She may have cut her eyes over there just instinctively.
Right.
Lester was about to speak, but the little rubbing of the mouth, that happened like 9 times, and it was the same little rub. That's just odd.
I haven't been up there, and of course we were on a stage with lighting not like they are.
Right.
One, you can't see much of anything other than just what's right in front of you or a monitor in our case.
Okay.
So there's times I'm not even sure, looking 10 feet, that she can really pay that much attention.
She may not have been able to see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See? Good insight.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, thanks for calling, buddy.
Okay, well, Big Prize Thursday.
Yes, it is.
I hope Tony left some prizes for you.
Oh, I've got prizes.
They're stacked up in the corner over here.
And I haven't used them yet, so.
Okay, well, you all have a good time for the rest of the morning.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll come back in just a minute.
Miss Toni and Gary? Listen to our podcast, free anytime, day or night.
And check out our blog at toniandgary.com with links to the podcast, email, iHeartRadio, listen online, and all the latest stories and video.
And like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's The Morning Show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Psst. Yeah, you. It's me, your heart. Listen to me. We've got to talk. High blood pressure is serious, and yours? Whoa. What happened to us? We used to be so much more active. But lately, you've been ignoring me. I know you think I'm just gonna keep ticking away forever, but you're wrong. You can do so much more to control your high blood pressure. Doing the minimum isn't doing enough. I'm under a lot of pressure and can quit whenever I want. Bet you didn't know that. But I like my job. Just treat me better. Check on me. Give me something green to nibble on every once in a while. And maybe we can do some exercise on occasion. Let's get to it. After all, we're in this together.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
The Liosi Group has been taking care of your office needs for over 40 years. They've also been saving 95% of their customers' money and improving efficiency. In this economy, people don't want to think about buying office equipment, but the Liosi Group is reducing hard dollar cost for their customers. How? The machines do more and cost less. Lexmark copiers revolutionize how copies, prints, scans, and faxes are made. Don't be afraid to check into saving your company money. The Liosi Group is where you'll receive quality service guaranteed, response time guaranteed. That means guaranteed satisfaction. Call the Liosi Group to start reducing your office costs today.
Service, extraordinary service.
Just ask anyone.
650-4150. LIOCE.
Keeping you informed. Now, a Tennessee Valley News Update on WBHP.
Good morning, I'm Megan Brantley, and here's a quick update from the WHNT News 19 newsroom. A teenager is in custody after 2 shootings in South Carolina. Police say he killed his father, then opened fire at an elementary school. The 3 victims, 2 students and a teacher at the school, are still alive. One of the 2 students shot is in critical condition this morning. A decision is expected soon in a disciplinary hearing that could result in Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore's second removal from office. The charges involve an order Moore sent to the state's 68 probate judges months after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples could marry in all U.S. states. Moore says the order was merely a status report and not an order to disobey. The U.S. Army is apologizing for a tweet insulting Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. The tweet was posted Tuesday but quickly removed. The Army blamed the tweet on a social media account. An Army spokesperson says that the manager, who's since had her Army social media account suspended, intended to post the tweet on her personal account. I'm Megan Brantley, and those are some of the stories we're tracking this Thursday morning.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Don't forget, you can listen to Toni and Gary with your free iHeartRadio app. The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Thursday morning traffic. We're off to a good start. The weather, not a problem. So far, it's a good ride around Athens and around Decatur. We're not spotting any problems on 565. The Parkway looking good. No problems heading over Chapman Mountain on Highway 72. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Say good morning to Mary Lawrence, Sonoma's Mortgage, First Commercial Bank. Okay, Mary, so I want to build a house. What's my first step?
Well, the first step is very similar to buying any house, to get pre-qualified and then to find out your options. So we go through it a little bit differently when you're building, and it's a little bit longer process, but very similar to home buying process for an existing house.
So, Mary, I've decided I want to build a house, but I have to buy a lot, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to help me figure out how to get all the people together that I need to build the house?
And we can be a one-stop shop for that, for buying the lot, for doing the construction loan, for doing the permanent financing, and to find out whether or not you want to do a one-time close or whether it makes more sense to do two closes, depending on the type of loan that you're looking for, the type of down payment, and the equity you might have.
And the thing is, I may not even know that.
Right, because we can be creative on how we come up with the down payment in this scenario. So it's good to have that conversation either before or as you're talking to your builder.
So again, the first stop that I need to make is with you.
It makes sense because you get the whole picture drawn out and kind of a map of where you need to go.
Call Mary Lawrence today on her cell phone, 256-755-1008. All loans subject to credit approval. Rates and fees subject to change. NMLS number 180085.
Toni and Gary sound better in HD. Listen on your HD radio at 102.1 HD2.
I'm Chris Haley with Haley's Flooring and Interiors and Liberty Safes, and we will be giving away a Liberty Tactical Gun Safe, an $1,100 value. Listen for details.
The Toni and Gary SEC Football Pick'em Contest. Find out more online at ToniandGary.com and listen weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. here on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Welcome back to the morning show. Okay, what are we giving away?
$40 for Popeye's Cajun Fried Chicken. Movie passes for 2 at Hollywood 18. Family 4-pack to the Botanical Gardens. $20 from Dunkin' Donuts, Huntsville and Madison. And today is Big Prize Giveaway Thursday, so we've added $100 to Nick's Ristorante on South Bailey Cove in Huntsville.
And a day pass to the range at Last Resort Guns, County Line Road in Madison.
All you have to do is call us. At the end of the show, we'll draw from all the people who have called in, and that person wins.
534-3521 and 309-2313.
It is Big Prize Giveaway Thursday. Excuse me. And we do have prizes to give away. And you can call us at 256-534-3521, 309-2313. I'll have some trivia for you next hour as I try to find some. Toni is the trivia queen. And for some reason, she never gives me the secret when she leaves. She never gives me the secret as to how to find all this good trivia that she finds. So I'm working on it.
You're working on it. So you got 15, 20 minutes.
Right, I got 2 minutes here, a minute and a half there.
I think we only got 3 of the answers out of the 9 yesterday.
That's true. I need to find that somewhere, don't I? And print that back out.
What was the... Do you have them? Do you still have yesterday's?
Well, they're in the trash can over there. I'll have to go digging through the trash can.
That's great.
Never mind.
I can't recall the trivia questions from yesterday.
I don't recall.
I have no recollection.
Let's go to Brian and talk to Brian. Hey, Brian. Brian. Are you there, Brian? All right. We'll wait on Brian. So... a guy up in, where was this? North Carolina was putting out his Donald Trump for president sign on his yard. And he's been doing that, most of the election, he says. But he's had a problem with people stealing it. Stealing the sign. So what did he do? He hooked a battery to it. And now we have video of some guy coming into the guy's yard, going to steal the Trump sign, and he gets electrocuted.
Wow.
Yep.
That'll be on the blog a little later on. That's funny.
Yeah.
You've got to admit, that's funny.
I can see him jumping around. That could not feel good.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you can see him jumping around.
Okay.
It's pretty good. A new poll was out, came out yesterday, Reuters Ipsos poll, showing Hillary Clinton up 6 points.
Is that after the debate? A poll after the debate?
Let's see. This came out. No.
Okay.
Well, it came out Tuesday.
Yeah, so that's,
Maybe or maybe not have the debate in there. Probably not. The problem is, so she's up 6 points. The problem is they sampled 44% Democrats and only 33% Republicans. Well, I mean, it's not hard to get her up 6 points when you do something like that. That's, just so disingenuous.
Polling is such a tricky thing. I mean, when I was a kid growing up and we heard about, someone's winning the polls, I thought, I get, you just kind of, when you're younger, you just kind of believe, well, this must be official.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this must be very realistic and we can trust in it.
Sure.
You don't even realize that there are 100,000 different polls out there, much less how the questions are structured. And then you start talking about historical media bias and things like that. So I understand that there is some science to it, but it's so hard to put any faith in them.
Yeah.
Well, and what they do to these polls is they call it weighting. And according to the last census, which I think was last year, 2015 census, the census says there is X amount more Democrats than Republicans in this country. So what they do is they do the poll, and then they weight it, they say, to match the demographics from the census.
Yeah.
I call BS on that, quite honestly. The latest Ipsos Reuters poll has Hillary Clinton up 6 points. They spoke to 1,705 Americans, which is a bigger sampling than most of them do.
Yeah.
However, 752 of those were Democrats, and only 570 of those were Republicans. The rest of them were independents leaning one way or the other, which they don't tell us about, of course. They probably polled independents leaning liberal more than they did independents leaning conservative. But there you have it, up 6 points. But we had polls yesterday showing Donald Trump up in several battleground states, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida, Iowa. He's up, 2 or 3 points in each of those states. So that's a good thing. That, too, was before the debate. All right, let's try Brian again. Hey, Brian.
Hey, good morning. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
A question from yesterday. If a farmer has 30 cows and 28 chickens, that was that clue that I gave you about Chick-fil-A to eat more chicken. The farmer has 30 cows, 28.
Hey, Brian, we're having a horrible time hearing you, buddy. I don't know what happened. Sounds like
I'll call you back. I'll drop off and call back in a little bit.
Okay, buddy. Sounds like you fell into a waterfall all of a sudden. All right, Royce is up next. Hey, Royce.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I thought I'd get in early to qualify for a big Thursday.
Yeah, you're in a little early, Royce.
Well, I am. I got to go to work just a little bit earlier today, but usually folks are really talky during the 5 o'clock hour, so I just sit here and listen. And I thought today I'd jump in for the qualifier.
Well, we thank you for calling, buddy.
All right. Y'all have a great day now.
You too. Mayor Finley,
Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Well, go ahead and ask.
And I probably should have asked you during the break. Can I ask you? But if you don't want to answer, just don't answer. Donald Trump came to Madison.
Yes.
And Mayor Trulock, received all kinds of flack over that.
Yeah.
What would your decision? So the reason he faced flack is the city kind of picked up the tab on security and stuff like that, and a lot of folks said, "Well, we didn't have the money to do that. Why are you doing that?"
Right.
We had Mayor Trulock on a couple of days afterwards, and he was explaining that the city of Madison actually had a fund for things like that, and it wasn't coming out of the budget; it was coming out of that fund. What would you have done?
Well, it's always easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Sure.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one big difference that I think I would have done that might have helped with the overall situation is, to me, the mayor and council, it's a partnership.
Right.
They actually have the pocketbook. They're the ones who have the budget.
Sure.
So, but then you're responsible as the mayor for taking that budget and managing and executing the budget and then managing the people. Okay. To me, the short answer is I would have made a decision with council.
Okay.
That in turn, I think would have, regardless, because when he says there's a special pot of money for that, it all comes out of our budget.
It's all in the budget,
yeah,
right.
And there's nothing set up for special political events.
Okay.
I think it was very impressive that we had a political candidate like Donald Trump come, and
Sure.
I know a lot of the background
deal,
as far as
wasn't it?
why he landed in Madison rather than landed in Huntsville.
Right.
It's met a lot of their criteria. Again, one of the biggest things I heard early on was, well, look at the marketing it did for Madison. Look at the money that we got out of that, only to have Jeff Sessions when he announced, two of the greatest Trump rallies ever in Mobile and Huntsville.
Oh,
we didn't mention Madison. So we took a 30,000 bill, and then when it got to the spotlight of where it was the big city, yeah. So
they used Huntsville instead.
Yeah, again, it's part of where I think we were successful in the mayor's office before is again respecting and working, and you don't always agree with council, but as long as you're communicating with them, I think you're so much better off, and I think that's where we'll try to be a little bit different.
Have you seen an estimation of maybe what the city of Madison made from folks that came into the city for that?
They group it into a generic. I think that was a January, if I'm not mistaken, but January or February.
It was an April.
It was an April
rally.
Okay, so then that would have fallen into the May sales tax, and I think that the numbers were a little bit higher, but they were nowhere close to what they were estimating, which would be $30,000 in expenses.
Well, I think probably one of the biggest things to bring in revenues like that would have been hotels, and no one had to stay in the hotels.
Nobody stayed in hotels. Everybody came for a one-day trip. They might have stopped at the restaurants. They might have got some gas, but no. So I mean, it's there's times when a city absorbs cost that in turn benefits the citizens for an overall event. They got to see a political candidate up close, and now one of the two main ones. So it's easy to say I wouldn't have done it. I think we probably still would have done it. We simply would have secured some of the money for the city instead of the schools just getting the money for the venue.
Sure.
Because it is a real cost. Just like right when we have the street festival on Saturday, we will have folks working overtime from Public Works, from police, from multiple departments within the city to support that event.
Is that budgeted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you budget that. You know it's coming, and you try to work with them. The street festival at times will pay some of that back for security or something like that. But you are prepared for events like what happened to come in. Again, it's less of an issue when council knows about it because you've called them and said, is it okay if we spend our own money, versus finding out through social media that Donald Trump's coming.
I think that was the main rub. It happened so quickly.
Yeah.
It was put together, well, I guess relatively quickly, but I think they had like a month.
No,
not even.
I'm telling you, it was a day. I mean,
really?
It was phone calls coming from D.C. to try to find a place for him to come.
Oh, that's right, because they had to move it from the original place.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it was last minute.
Yeah,
that's why.
It was very last minute, and that's why he took a lot of flack for that, and a lot of it isn't fair in one sense. But again, you buffer that, and it's not just an individual; it's a group when you bring city council into it too.
And when everybody was raking him over the coals for that, they never bothered to mention that Donald Trump did pay $20,000, but it all went to the schools. As you said, you would have negotiated a little bit coming over to the city.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have helped.
I think that would have minimized the impact a little bit, or you could have shown where it offset the additional expenses. Because one thing you want to make sure is if he comes, you don't have any major problems throughout that. You support an event like that.
Sure.
And
it was huge. There was something like 20,000 people inside the event, and then there were thousands that had to be turned away because it was full.
Yeah. Not quite to the level where Donald Trump said the fire department's stopping them. I mean, it wasn't quite that bad.
But I got stuck in the traffic because I live in Decatur, and it was the day of the Academy Awards, the night of the Academy Awards, and we were.
It was a tough decision, wasn't it?
Well,
Donald Trump or the Academy Awards?
Well, I chose the Academy Awards, but I had to drive to Madison to get some food to bring back because there's a particular.
They don't have food in Decatur.
They have plenty of great food in Decatur. I had some out of town company. He wanted a particular kind of pizza. I'll just say that. And so I had to drive to Madison to pick it up, and all of a sudden I'm in this line of traffic, and I'm like, oh, that's right, it's Trump.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was still cool to be around the atmosphere.
Well, Tony and I was actually there, but it was very unfortunate where we had to be because we got media credentials, and usually that's awesome. Usually, when you have media credentials, you have access. Well, not for a Trump rally, and you're excoriated. I mean, he started on the media. And we had people turning around to us, just giving us scowls, and I was like, "Hey, he's talking about those media, not us." All right, we'll take a break and be back in just a minute. 256-534-3521 is the number to call to get in on the show.
Miss Toni and Gary? Listen to our podcast, free anytime, day or night.
And check out our blog at ToniandGary.com with links to the podcast, email, iHeartRadio, listen online, and all the latest stories and video.
And like us on Facebook. Go to Facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's The Morning Show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver Traffic Update.
This report is brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
We're off to a good start this morning around the valley. No wrecks or stalls if you're heading up and down the interstate. So far, it's a good ride on the Parkway and along Highway 72. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
Understanding your finances is a key to a strong financial future. Don't be the one who gets left behind. Visit feedthepig.org for tools and tips to get started on the path to financial stability.
You know, if you're buying a home in the Tennessee Valley, you already know how important it is that you have a real estate agent with experience in the area. But did you know it's also important to have experience when you're selling your home? Carrie Rosenblum of Rosenblum Realty tells us why. Carrie?
Gary, it's very true. When you go out to sell a home, it's more than just driving sign up out in front of your yard and waiting on the buyer to walk through the door or your phone to ring. What we'll do is try to give you detailed information to intelligently price your home. It's very important to be in the market and also to have the proper condition and placement of advertising that needs to be done. So we'll educate you on what we will do to help get the right kind of marketing done on your home to help those days on market to be fewer for you. The longer it stays on the market is not an advantage for a seller, so we will be able to look at the market on a weekly basis, make those adjustments. Call us at Rosenblum Realty, 539-9501, or come to us on the web at rosenblumrealty.com, and we'll help you sell your home.
Kerry Rosenblum with Rosenblum Realty.
Don't get taken for a ride on the price of your next car or truck. I'm Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro. Let me help you.
Email Jerry at carprousa.com. Then listen this weekend.
Saturdays noon to 3 and Sundays 9 to 11 a.m. on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773. 4773.
Hey, it's George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM. At iHeartMedia, we know how to reach target customers. We know what we're doing. So let us help you grow your business. Get heard, be loved. Call 844-BUY-RADIO right now or go to iHeartMedia.com.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
This is WBHP Huntsville, WHOS Decatur, and WDRM FM HD2 Decatur, an iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. Authorities in Townville, South Carolina say a teenager killed his father at their home yesterday, then went to a nearby elementary school where he shot 2 students and a teacher.
There's no racial undertones there. There's no terrorism involved.
Captain Garland Major with the Anderson County Sheriff's Office says the teen was captured within minutes. 1 student remains in critical condition. Congress passing a stopgap spending measure last night to keep the government funded through early December, averting a shutdown.
The motion is adopted.
The spending plan, which includes money to fight Zika and help Louisiana rebuild from flooding, now heads to the president's desk. A tropical storm taking an unusual track in the southern Caribbean and menacing Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao off the northern coast of Venezuela. It's expected to gain strength and turn north late Thursday before heading for Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's frustrating driving with those things that are just not right on your car. The rattles, the squeaks, the radio you can't program.
It is time for a new ride, and it's time to visit your North Alabama Honda dealer.
No worries in a brand new 2016 Honda Civic.
And don't just take my word for it. Take the word of the 55 automotive experts who gave the Civic the prestigious North American Car of the Year award.
There's only one car of the year, and you can get it at your North Alabama Honda dealer.
The Honda Civic can be yours, and it's spectacular with improved fuel economy,
42 miles per gallon,
and improved horsepower,
up to 174.
So now, in addition to great looks, Apple CarPlay, and fuel economy,
you've got power. Power in a Civic.
So you need to hurry to any North Alabama Honda dealer for your brand new 2016 Honda Civic. Leases starting at $179 a month.
Shop Jerry Damson Honda in Huntsville, Honda of Decatur on the Beltline, or University Honda in Florence.
Hey guys, with fall sports kicking in, are you looking to trim up, maybe lose some of that fat, and feel more energized and motivated? If so, Progene is conducting a national study on the impact of testosterone and will pay you to participate. Go to Progene23.com to see if you qualify. Here, you can find out your testosterone levels for free while getting paid to do something about it. Progene, a leading testosterone brand found nationwide at GNC, Rite Aid, and others, is sponsoring this research and will pay you to be in the largest survey of men's levels in the country. It's an easy program you can do from home. The clinical grade tests are painless and confidential, and everything is shipped to you for free. So if you want to make a difference in your life and would like to find out your levels for free, then go to Progene23.com now. That's the word pro, Gene, 23.com. Progene23.com. Enroll today before this study is closed at Progene23.com.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
We're off to a good start this morning around the valley. No wrecks or stalls if you're heading up and down the interstate. So far, it's a good ride on the Parkway and along Highway 72. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
If you're involved in youth or high school sports, you need to know about Positive Coaching Alliance. PCA is a national nonprofit organization developing better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. For more information, visit positivecoach.org.
Say good morning to Janet Kinchelow Martin, Calhoun Community College. And Janet, let's talk about people who may be a class or two away from graduating.
We're going back through records and have discovered that we've got a lot of students that were Calhoun students at one point, but for whatever reason they either transferred before they got their associate's degree or they maybe had to drop out because of life happening, and they were a class or two from graduating and maybe didn't realize how close they were. So we're kind of reclaiming those individuals. If you think that you are a class or two or you're not certain, we're asking them to contact our advising center. And even if they've gone on to a four-year institution, they can transfer those credits back and we will still award their associate's degree. And someone might say, well, why is that important if they're at a four-year institution now? Well, again, as I said earlier, sometimes life happens. And so if you have enough credits to get that associate's degree, we will award that. You have that degree in hand, and then you can go on and do, what goes on beyond that.
Log on to calhoun.edu to register today. So why do people drive from all over the Southeast to Eddie Pruitt Ford?
Tremendous savings on new Ford cars and trucks, crossovers, and SUVs.
Right now, great buys at Eddie Pruitt Ford. Great incentives from Ford Motor Company as well as from Eddie Pruitt himself. And he's got those program vehicles with still under factory warranty mileage on them at Eddie Pruitt Ford, and you can save thousands and thousands of dollars. And at Eddie Pruitt Ford, every new Ford comes with a powertrain lifetime warranty. You heard me right. A lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Ford sold at Eddie Pruitt Ford. So do like I do and have been doing for years. I head over to Hartselle, Alabama, Highway 31 and do business with my friend Eddie Pruitt. And you'll do it too because he'll treat you right at Eddie Pruitt Ford, Highway 31, Hartselle.
Don't miss Tiger Talk, sponsored by Tennessee Valley Fence, tonight at 8 on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Hey, this is Bo Thomas with Thomas HVAC Company. It's football season. That means I'll be giving away $100 in cash to one Toni and Gary listener each week.
The Toni and Gary SEC Football Pick'em Contest. Find out more online at ToniandGary.com and listen weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. here on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
6:08 on the morning show. Welcome back in. We're giving away big prizes today because it's Thursday. Big prize giveaway Thursday. 256-534-3521 is the number. Also 309-2313. I found some trivia, guys. And I found yesterday's trivia. So yesterday's trivia.
Was it where you filed it?
Yes, in file 13. It was in file 13. And the Coke that I threw away yesterday was not on it yet. So that was good. So a study shows which office-based jobs have the most bacteria. Which office-based jobs have you come in contact with the most bacteria? So we have three answers. The number one answer was teacher. Mm-hmm. The number three answer was banker and cashier. And the number five answer was a doctor. I have six more answers there. So which office-based jobs has you come in contact with more bacteria? And then a couple of other trivia questions. Name the largest freshwater lake in the world. And that's in the United States. There's your clue. Where would you find the Sea of Tranquility? Or, what is someone who shoes horses called? What is someone who shoes horses called? Or, which word goes before vest, beans, and quartet? Which word goes before vest, beans, and quartet? All right, number 256-534-3521 and 309-2313. 54 degrees outside right now. We're looking for sunny skies today. High only 73. That's perfect weather.
It is a gorgeous day.
Sunny and 73. Then partly cloudy tonight, 50. Sunny 74 tomorrow. Sunny 78 Saturday. And it's going to warm up a little bit. Sunny 83 Sunday. Sunny 84 Monday. Sunny 86 Tuesday. And sunny, they changed it. Sunny 86 Tuesday and then sunny 86 Wednesday. That's getting awful close to 90 again. Don't like it. And then we have Tropical Storm Matthew that's coming into the Caribbean as we speak. Should be a hurricane tomorrow morning at this time. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to keep a track on that. It may hit Florida. It's real. The cone is real close to Florida. It has it going into the Bahamas, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that. You know how those waffle around out there. Never know where they're going to hit.
Oh, they got a big cone on it right now.
They do have a big cone on it.
Give ourselves a buffer.
So it doesn't lick itself. Give me some names, dear. I'm going to take some phone calls, and we'll start with Glenda. Hey, Glenda.
Hey, good morning. I heard your video, so you did see it, huh?
I did see the apparently giving clue or giving hand signals to Lester Holt.
Yeah, I just don't think that's a coincidence. I mean, to me, she's that's just my opinion. I just don't think it's a coincidence. It's one of them things that could never be proved one way or the other.
It happened. It happened at least 9 times, Glenda. In the video
I'm saying and it was always this. I put it to you this way: if that wasn't signals, then she don't want to have that place checked for it to be itching her that much.
She needs some Benadryl.
She needs something. But anyway, with your trivia,
yes,
I sit here and listen to it, and maybe it's because I was fiddling with other things, but apparently you went over my head on those. I didn't hear any of the ones that normally that you brand as easy when Toni throws some stuff out there. But then, like I said, maybe it's because I was fiddling with other things. That's what I'd like to think anyway, that I'm not that,
I gotta tell you, Glenda, when you're sitting here with the answers, they're all easy.
Well, I can see that too. It's kind of like playing the what do you call it? Monday morning football. When you got all the plays already been laid out, then you know exactly what should have been done instead of what was done.
That's right.
But anyway, I will let y'all go. Oh, and one other thing though, you're talking about the poll numbers. Mm-hmm. You're right on one thing there, and it stands out with anybody. I mean, if you have, say, a conservative talk show, most people that calls in, they're going to be conservative. Occasionally, you'll have one that calls in that's not, Mm-hmm. Or if you go and you poll the majority of, it's going to be Democrats, that, it's going to lean in her favor. And I also heard, I don't know if it was that Alex somebody. It was somebody that was just talking about that guy. What is that guy's name? It's supposed to be so far out that a lot of people don't pay attention to him.
Alex Jones?
Yeah, I think that's who it was. But they was talking about polls and stuff, and they was trying to explain to people, I don't listen to him. I just happened to run across him when I was looking at something else. But it does make sense that depending on how you polled, who you polled, that you can get any results that you wanted. Because if you stop and think about it, if I done a poll on Corey, and you're talking to the people that called in the show or have met you and so forth, then you're going to get a positive poll. If I throw it out there to people in Illinois, and they're more than likely they're going to go, Corey, who?
Yeah,
because you're from Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it all depends on where you're throwing that poll and who you're talking to, and you could get any results that you wanted to do if you know what you're doing as far as doing the poll, and you've got your list of people that you're going to call, and you know how these people are voting and that kind of stuff. Because believe it or not, and it blew my mind the first time I got one, I was getting all this stuff from the Republican Party, wanting me to take this survey and so forth and so on. And I have never sent the first dollar to the National Republican Party. But they knew that I always was going into these primaries, and when I go in and they say Republican or Democrat, you have to sign your little name down, and you go in there and vote. So they knew that for years I had been signing my name on that Alabama Republican thing to go and vote, even though I'm not a member of their party. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, you don't have to register in Alabama.
About people that you don't even think about knowing.
Right.
So, but anyway, y'all have a great day.
Yeah, you can find a poll or a study to back up anything you want it to back up with the internet.
Well, and you can also, going back to what you were saying, you can purchase the voter lists from the Secretary of State. And so in some instances, when you're going knocking on doors, you can literally find out who's voted in the last 5 elections.
Wow.
And so you can narrow it down to the fact of this house is going to vote, so I better see them.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
And if you have folks...
I didn't know you... Well, I mean, maybe I did know you could get the voter... I mean, how else would candidates know who to go knock on the doors? Or whose doors to knock on?
I can tell you one of the candidates in Madison City Council races obtained the list, figured out who in his respective district had voted in the last 3 elections, and those are the houses that person went to, and in some instances went back 7 and 8 times until they found that person home to actually get to speak to him face to face.
Did it work?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
So
right. Well, good.
Yeah. You can actually do a little homework. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Do a little show prep, right? All right. Let's talk to Brian. Is up next. Hey, Brian.
Hey, terribly sorry about that. My radio and my phone were fighting over my Bluetooth ear set, and I finally figured that one out.
Nice.
So I apologize for the inconvenience.
The first world problems we have in this country.
Oh.
My Bluetooth went to my radio instead of my phone. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I thought it probably better preface anything by saying the opinions of Brian are not necessarily those of the Toni and Gary show. It's producer or it's guest.
Uh-oh.
Get your finger on the button.
I've got the delay going. Brian, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I heard about the Trump rally, and you were talking about how you and Toni and the Gary were in there. And I thought it was amazing that we were so free to walk around between everything else, but they had y'all packed in there thicker than illegal Indians in the back of the chicken truck. They would not let y'all go any place.
No, they wouldn't. As a matter of fact, I attempted to walk over to the line, the receiving line of sorts that Donald Trump was in, just to get pictures and such, closer, pictures or video maybe. And I was told, in not so many words, by a Secret Service agent, get out. All right, fine. I'll go back to my little corral and my jail cell. Mm-hmm. That's what it felt like I was in.
Yeah, but yet some of the troublemakers are right out there by him.
That's right. And then the troublemakers are right there beside him. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
But the one question about farmer has 30 cows and 28 chickens. How many didn't? The 10 cows did not eat chickens.
That's right. I couldn't remember exactly what. So you had 38 cows, or I'm sorry, 33 cows, and 28 chickens.
28. Yeah.
How many didn't? And the answer was what?
Well, that would be 13 if you had 33, but you put any number of cows in there.
Sure. Okay, fine. All right.
But also, the other thing, am I correct in that the last 4 football contests, ladies won the top $100?
That's right.
Well, I hope for Bo's sake that a guy wins this week, because otherwise there's going to be trouble in that household if she hears about him giving away all that money to the ladies.
Yeah, it's amazing. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks, first and second was taken by ladies in our football contest. Mm-hmm.
I need to start playing.
Y'all have a great. Why don't you let him give his fix, Corey?
Okay, yeah, we'll do that soon.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, bye. Brian. All right, up next would be George. Hey, George.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and say good morning from the conservative deplorables. And yeah, because I actually do get up and go to work every morning like y'all. So.
Oh. Well, if only you could have stayed home and collected a check from the government.
That's right. I know. It'd be so much easier, wouldn't it? But,
I guess.
I'm a deplorable, and I own it, so I'm gonna go to work this morning, and y'all have a good morning.
All right.
Thanks,
You
George.
too, George. You too.
I want to play for you guys, maybe in the next segment. You brought up buying the voter rolls from the Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as y'all know, Ted Cruz endorsed Donald Trump over the weekend, which was huge. Okay. So Glenn Beck has gone off the deepest end that there is on earth. I mean, he's just off. His cheese is sliding off his cracker. Well, when Ted Cruz endorsed Donald Trump, I mean, it just slid right off. His cheese is a mile away from his cracker now. So he actually interviewed Ted Cruz on Monday. And it was an interesting final question that was asked that I want to play for you guys.
All right.
Sure.
Coming up in the next segment. All right. Since it's time to take a break, in honor of Toni, we'll go to the phone and we'll talk to Mary. Mary, yes. Hey, Mary. Mary? Are you there, Mary?
Good morning.
There we go.
I just want to... Hi.
All right, Mary. Thanks. All right. Now we'll take a break.
All right.
And we'll be back.
Listen to Toni and Gary on your smartphone.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen anywhere in the U.S.
And we're on HD Radio 102.1-2. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's the morning show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Talking with Bo Thomas of Thomas HVAC, your train comfort specialist. Tell us about the new technology, Bo.
Well, Gary, this is the same technology. It's been used on airplanes for decades. It's been used to keep out dust, bacteria, viruses, allergens, and now we have it available for your home and your office.
So how does it work?
What we do, we install it into your system, so as it's running, we get a chance to filter the air throughout the whole house.
Well, Bo, what about the people who use humidifiers?
We've got that covered too. We've got a humidifier we'll install in the system so we can affect the entire house, and we can get rid of those bowls that are sitting over in the corner and eliminate using them in a room-by-room basis. Imagine all day and all night while you're sleeping, the air in your home is being cleaned so you get the best air quality in every room 24 hours a day.
How do they get a hold of you, Bo?
Call us at 256-858-4822 or find us online at coolhuntsville.com.
Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
America is taking the lead in energy,
leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs, opportunity, and economic growth for our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election, I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
On the road this morning, good news, no wrecks or stalls to slow you down around Athens, around Decatur. Things are moving fine on the interstates and along the parkway. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Say good morning to Keith Pinkerton. He is Mr. Electric. Now, Keith, every month we have severe weather in the Tennessee Valley. Power outages, a big problem. But you can help stop that.
That is correct. We can actually come in and install a whole house generator that automatically senses when the power goes off, takes you off the utility grid, and turns on the generator and powers up your house during a power outage. And when power comes back on, it senses it and shuts down the generator and puts you back on the utility grid.
And another important feature with Mr. Electric is making sure you're safe at home.
We actually have a home safety inspection, electrical home safety inspection that we do when we come out to your house, and and we inspect your whole electrical system, and we educate you about your electrical system, and if we see any code violations or anything that needs to be addressed, we'll give you a free upfront quote.
Call Mr. Electric today at 1-888-536-8119.
Now, your official WBHP Weather Center forecast.
This report is brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
I'm WHNT News 19 meteorologist Ben Smith. It'll be the coolest afternoon since the middle of May in the Tennessee Valley. A mixture of clouds and sunshine, only an isolated shower. High temperatures in the lower 70s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the lower 50s. On Friday, mixture of clouds and sunshine. Rain chances only at 10% with highs around 75. Take my forecast and WBHP with you everywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app at WBHPAM.com.
Wash surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water while preparing food. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year, and roughly 3,000 will die. But you can keep your family safer by cleaning with soap and water as you go. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-885-5522 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-885-5522. That's 800-885-5522. Employees of J.D. Mellberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Toni and Gary sound better in HD. Listen on your HD radio at 102.1 HD2.
Hi, I'm Russ. And I'm Andy. Last Resort Guns Basic Pistol Course coming up soon.
Check us out at lastresortguns.com or give us a call at 256-774-5741.
Last Resort Guns coming up tonight. They have the basic pistol course, but it's for ladies tonight. And what's interesting about Last Resort Guns is they have ladies-only events. That way, some ladies get intimidated when there are a bunch of guys hanging out. So they have a ladies-only event. It's a lady instructor, a lady range officer, and nothing but ladies firing. So that's tonight over at Last Resort Guns, and you can sign up for that at ToniandGary.com and just click on the Last Resort Guns logo. Now, I'll set this up for you again. So Ted Cruz endorsed Donald Trump. Been a long time coming. He spoke at the convention and told everybody to vote their conscience, and he was excoriated for that, for not jumping on the Trump train. So he is now on the Trump train. As a matter of fact, he's a surrogate for Donald Trump. I mean, I never thought that would happen. I mean, an endorsement, okay, but now he's out there talking him up. Wow,
Yeah.
That's huge, because Ted Cruz is good at talking. I mean, he'll be able to. I feel he'll be able to hit back at all these other folks, hitting on Trump. So Glenn Beck decided to have Ted Cruz on Monday to talk about his endorsement, because Glenn Beck is a never-Trumper, and he thought Ted Cruz was a never-Trumper, so he spent gobs of money helping Ted Cruz across the country. And unfortunately, because listen, Ted Cruz was my first choice, because I think he would have been awesome. I would love to see him debate Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
Talk about a tingle up my leg. Boy, I tell you what. But it didn't happen, and now I'm on the Trump train. So, but anyway, so they had about a 20-minute interview, and I've posted on the blog at ToniandGary.com. But the final question that Glenn Beck asked Ted Cruz, I thought was pretty interesting.
I have one more question, and this is worth $20,000 to me. Bump the next commercial, please.
So let's talk about that a minute. So what's happened is he's run out of time in his segment, and what he goes to right after his segment would be what would be considered a network spot. It would have been his commercial. So he's saying that bump that commercial, it's worth $20,000 to me. Now, I have a hard time believing, folks, that Glenn Beck is charging $20,000 a minute for spots. I have a hard time believing that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're too cheap. But $20,000 for 60 seconds on the Glenn Beck show?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Take that first commercial, give me the extra minute for his response, because I'm up against a network break. All of us have received pro-Trump emails, and we're now on the Trump bandwagon. I've taken advertising from Donald Trump, and I would take advertising from Hillary Clinton, because this is a business, and I don't believe keeping options gone. However, I think everybody should be able to have their voice heard on the.
You guys think that he's a little on the nervous side?
It sounds like
he's out of breath.
Yeah,
and that's just not Glenn Beck. Yeah. But he took Ted Cruz to task on this, and he just seems nervous to me.
Public airwaves. However, me getting information or email list now on Donald Trump is really rather annoying. The only person that I ever gave my information to was you. As a candidate, you do not have to sell your list. Did you sell your list to Donald Trump?
Well, Glenn, as you noted on your radio show, you sell advertising, and it's what actually funds your radio show. And that's true of, as far as I know, every radio show, and that's how one communicates. That's also true of every candidate, that you don't sell your list, but you rent your list so that someone wants to access your supporters. They pay for it, and that helps fund your efforts. And so, like every other candidate, sure, we have rented our list out for those who wish to pay for it. Yeah. That is true, by the way, of every other candidate. And so, yeah, there's a hit piece today in Politico, a left-wing rag that is hitting me, but somehow is not applying that standard to anyone else in the political world, or for that matter, anyone else on radio who sells advertising every day to communicating with the voters.
I do have that same standard. Thank you very much, Ted. I disagree with you. I disagree with you strongly, but I still respect you as a man, and you have done a lot of great, and I hope you continue to do a lot of great work in the future. Thank you for coming on the program.
So he asked him straight up, did you give Donald Trump my name?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And he says yes.
And Ted Cruz, being Ted Cruz, said, yeah, I did. That's just how it works.
Well, I don't understand the difference between buying a list and renting a list.
Yeah, me either. I mean, how long is the renter's agreement for, is what I would like to know. I guess through the end of the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll agree with Glenn Beck that these stupid political emails get on my nerves too. Now, I signed up for all of them just because
you want to see them.
Because of the show.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, if they send out something funny or stupid or whatever. Well, all I'm getting now pretty much is Donald Trump stuff. Oh my gosh, it's like 10, 11, 12 a day, either begging for money or looking for his big thing now is I've got another debate coming up and I need your input. Well, just stop sending me those emails. I tried to give you input Monday night and you didn't listen. I screamed at the TV and you didn't listen. You just stepped back and let her do whatever she wanted to do. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting interview, and he actually went toe to toe with him.
And one thing you mentioned, would Ted Cruz be a better debater? There is absolutely zero question.
No kidding.
Because when it came to any of the issues that they were discussing, Ted Cruz has lived them and has researched them and is doing something about them.
Sure.
And I think the success Donald Trump has in a lot of instances, as we talked about earlier, is he comes at it from the outside. And doesn't get all caught up in a lot of times the specifics,
right.
And so he's talking at, for no better term, the third or fourth grade level, and people associate with that.
Sure.
Then again, like we're getting down here close to this last month, folks like me, I want some specifics. I mean, I'm Republican. I want to see the conservative vote. We haven't even talked about Supreme Court justices. I mean, I start there when it comes to why we would vote Republican.
In this interview, I didn't play that part, but in this interview, and another good point by Glenn Beck, because Ted Cruz was citing, the bad things about Hillary Clinton,
mm-hmm.
and Glenn Beck said, but you knew all of this in Cleveland. Why now? Then you were supposed to vote your conscience. Now you want them to vote for Donald Trump. What changed?
Yeah.
So Donald Trump came out with a new list of Supreme Court justices, possible nominees, and he put Mike Lee on top of that list. Representative, or is it Senator Mike Lee? Either way, he's in Congressman Mike Lee.
Right.
Anyway, he and Ted Cruz are best friends.
Huh.
So and Mike Lee is a never Trumper, as far as I know, still is. But he put him on top of his Supreme Court justice nominee list. And I wonder if that was a concession he made to bring Ted Cruz over to the good side.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see Ted Cruz as a Supreme Court justice. I'd be honest with you.
Absolutely. I think he could do more good on the Supreme Court probably than as president of the United States.
Right. I mean, I hate to lose men
he could do
like
that for 30 years.
I hate to
40 years.
Right. I hate to lose him or men like him in Congress because goodness knows we need them. But I think he would be a good Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. We're late as usual. And so we'll take a break, and we'll get straight to the phones when we get back.
On your smartphone, download the free iHeartRadio app and listen anywhere in the U.S.
And listen on your computer free anywhere in the world.
And we're on HD Radio 102.1-2. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's the morning show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes with this Fox News and Commentary next.
When you present your business card, what do you want it to say about you? If that card has the letters CMA after your name, it says you know the 11 most crucial areas of management accounting. It says you've mastered an exam that only has a 50% pass rate. It says you've distinguished yourself from your peers, all of which makes your business card a keeper. The CMA certification, you've got to earn it. Visit cmacertification.org for details.
FBI Director James Comey says the man who stabbed 10 people in a Minnesota mall appears to have been inspired by radical Islam. ISIS had taken responsibility for the attack, calling Tahir Adnan a soldier of the Islamic State. The FBI says they're still sorting out which group might have inspired the attack. But once again, an Islamic radical may have committed jihad on American soil. How many more lives must be lost before our government starts taking this threat seriously? How much more blood must be shed? President Obama's cowardice and capitulation has put all of us in grave danger. The jihadists are no longer content to attack New York City or Washington, D.C. Now they're coming after the heartland. There's an untold number of radicals who live among us, lurking in our neighborhoods, and as we learned on September 17th, our shopping malls. So stay alert, America, and be safe. I'm Todd Starnes.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3737. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3737.
Sign Now by Barracuda Networks is the next generation in e-signature solutions, accelerating business transactions for more than 4 million people and counting. Sign Now is priced at a fraction of the cost of comparable solutions, offers superior ease of use, yet includes all the enterprise-class security and functionality your business will ever need to safely go paperless. Sign Now is pre-integrated with Salesforce, Office 365, and Google Apps, and you can even integrate Sign Now with your own app through its API. Visit signnow.com and enter promo code RADIO to start your free trial.
It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids. And when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
Guys, when it comes to grooming, we're no longer interested in discount chains and unisex salons. Men nowadays demand the warm, personal atmosphere of the barbershop of days gone by, while enjoying man-sized leather chairs, big screen TVs, and a cold drink. Rooster's Men's Grooming Center has it all for you. They're located at 475 Providence Main Street in Huntsville. Give them a call at Rooster's Men's Grooming Center at 489-0886.
In the market for a new or pre-owned RV? Let us help you. Hi, this is Chase with Bankston Motorhomes. For over 46 years, my family has helped thousands of people just like you enjoy the RVing lifestyle. Whether you are taking a trip to the beach, exploring the West, tailgating, or just going on a weekend trip with your family, we have something for you. View all of our inventory online at bankstonmotorhomes.com or stop by any of Bankston's 5 locations here in North Alabama and Southern Tennessee.
There's a significant difference between being slightly out of tune or perfectly in tune. If your financial plan is even slightly out of tune, you may be paying too much for taxes, exposing yourself to too much risk, or retiring without a sound income plan. Is your financial plan out of tune? Listen to WBHP The Big Talker, Saturdays at 10 a.m. to Financially Tuned with Don Cloud of Cloud Financial to get your financial future in tune.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International.
We're off to a good start this morning around Decatur and around Athens. No problems on 565. It's a good ride on the Parkway as well as Highway 72. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
Almost 1 billion children around the world live in extreme poverty. You can change or even save the life of one of those kids when you become a sponsor with Compassion International. Find out how you can help at compassion.com/radio.
Maddie, what are you doing? How do you like the new sign? Sutton and Daughters Furniture? Does Daddy know about this? Well, we can't call it Sutton and Sons because we don't have any brothers. And besides, we've helped Daddy in the store practically since we were babies. Sutton and Daughters, that has a nice ring to it. Finally, some respect around here. Laren, this could be the start of a new trend. Either that or World War III.
The brands you trust, like Clayton Marcus and Craftmaster, at a price you'll love.
That's because Daddy said sell it.
Sutton Furniture.
Highway 72 in Athens.
Speed limit 55. Right turn only. Exit here. With some signs, it's clear what you're supposed to do. But heart attack warning signs aren't always this obvious. They can feel like arm pain, nausea, dizziness, shortness of breath, fatigue. If you experience the warning signs, call 911 and know that you can count on the accredited chest pain center at Crestwood Medical Center for nationally recognized heart care.
High school football scores, interviews, and more. Catch the Fifth Quarter Show Friday night at 9 on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
I'm Kerry Rosenblum with Rosenblum Realty, and it's football season again, and that means I'll be giving away $50 cash to one lucky Toni and Gary listener each week.
The Toni and Gary SEC Football Pick'em Contest. Find out more online at ToniandGary.com and listen weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. here on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
.643 on the morning show. Glad to have you with us. Give us a call at 256-534-3521 and 309-2313. It is Big Prize Giveaway Thursday, so you can get your call in and get registered for that. Hey, don't forget about our big football contest. We've got that going on, and we've got our 4 teams picked for this week. Paul and Jimmy, would you guys like to make your picks this morning?
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
I'd rather make them tomorrow.
I'd rather make them tomorrow morning, but sure, I'll make them.
Okay, well, we can wait till tomorrow. You'll be here tomorrow, right?
Sure.
All right, well, wait. Paul, do you want to wait till tomorrow, too?
You know what? I'll wait till tomorrow. That'd be fine.
Oh, a bunch of chickens. All right, fine. I'll still tell you about the teams we're going to pick. Tennessee at Georgia, and that's going to be on CBS at 2:30. Louisiana Monroe at Auburn, going to be on the SEC Network at 2:30. Wayne, you're an Auburn fan, right?
Actually, neutral.
Neutral? Well, that's not possible.
It is when you were born in Atlanta.
Well, that would make you a Georgia fan.
No.
No? All right, fine. You don't watch football then, right?
No, I watch football, but I can root for any given team on any given Sunday. Or Sunday or Saturday.
Wow. All right, then. It's not the way it works in Alabama, Wayne.
But you know, the Iron Bowl is the best day to go shopping. Because you can park right up at the front of the mall.
I bet it is.
You can walk inside, and you don't miss the game because it's being broadcast over the PA system.
It's true. I've never been inside a store while the Iron Bowl was on.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Kentucky. I wish I'd been in the store when, the 1 second left and all that stuff happened. Would have been nice to have been in the store for that. All right. Yeah. Then we have Kentucky at Alabama, and they're going to be on ESPN at 6 p.m. And then, I guess, what may be the best game of the week? Well, Tennessee and Georgia will be good. But we've got Missouri and LSU. They're going to be at LSU Saturday night on the SEC Network at 6:30.
And a brand new coach.
Brand new coach. Now, he's just the interim coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I read a story last night that was interesting. I think it was fodder. It was like the Onion. It read like it came from the Onion, but the gist of the story was LSU fired Les Miles, and they thought they were going to hire, and I've forgotten the guy's name, but one of the coaches off of the show Friday Night Lights, and they didn't realize that the guy was on Friday Night Lights. Surely that had to be satire.
Yeah.
I mean, surely. I mean, I realize it's LSU, but surely it has to be satire.
Absolutely.
All right, so the way to get your picks in, go to ToniandGary.com. Up at the very top, you'll see all the information, all the games to be picked. You can click on the email and email your picks. And all I need is how many points the team is going to win by. If you give me the scores, then I have to do math, and then we're in trouble. So just give me the point spread, and send it in as early as possible in the week. Here we are Thursday, but the earlier you send it, the better, because if there's a tie, which there has already been this year, the person who sent their email in first will break that tie and win. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Early preparation.
That's right. And that's why you two chickens are waiting until Friday.
Well, I heard all 4 games. I'm ready to make my picks.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Jimmy boy, the gauntlet's been thrown down.
Sure, why not?
So we've got it's Tennessee at Georgia.
Tennessee.
By how many points?
10.
Okay. What about Louisiana Monroe at Auburn?
Auburn by 17.
Are you Auburn and Alabama? I forgot.
Auburn. I had one graduate from there. You know, when
money goes there.
Yeah, when they bring back a degree.
Yeah, you have a little partiality.
You know, I'm actually going towards your third game. You know, I'm from Kentucky and a Kentucky fan, but typically we have to wait till basketball season. And
to take care of
again
Alabama?
This year we will too. So.
All right, so Kentucky at Alabama.
Alabama by 35.
Wow. Now, see, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could pick against Alabama.
Have you seen Kentucky play?
Well, I have. I have.
Hey, I love them, but I just you got to. Reality is going to set in very early in the first quarter.
Did you see where the governor of Kentucky tweeted out something about beating Vanderbilt last weekend? The game ended up going into overtime and Vandy won. And he prematurely tweeted out, "Congratulations to the Kentucky Wildcats." Oops. And then Missouri at LSU.
I say LSU by 4.
Okay. Yeah, a good game. Jimmy, do you want to try it?
Sure, why not?
All right. Again, Tennessee, Georgia.
I'll take Tennessee. I'm worried about a hangover after the finally beating Florida last week, and Georgia, of course, getting humiliated. But I'll take Tennessee by 3.
Now, Jimmy, you were a disc jockey at a sports station, right?
Yeah,
you ought to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I should know what I'm talking about. It was a while ago, but I should know.
Louisiana Monroe at Auburn.
I will take the Tigers by 10.
Okay. Auburn or Alabama fan?
I'm an Alabama fan.
Okay, good. Kentucky at Alabama.
I will take Alabama, but I'm going to say just by 20.
Really?
Yeah.
It's homecoming, you know.
It is homecoming, but I don't ever want to bank on an Alabama just racking up 56 points. I don't. I mean, even in national championship years, there were scores where you're just like, whoa, man.
Well, Saban historically doesn't like to run the score up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the way to say it. Saban historically doesn't like to keep his first string guys in very long. If it's pretty much a done game, he starts putting second, third, and fourth string in.
I agree. Yeah.
So in turn, typically the scores don't get run up quite as much as say an LSU used to do.
Yeah, and homecoming, you want to give everybody a chance to play.
Right.
That's exactly right. And then also we have Missouri at LSU.
I'll take LSU.
Okay.
I mean, the talent is still there, even though Coach Miles is gone. So I'll take LSU by 10.
All right. All right, everybody else, get your picks in, and we'll be announced. Typically, we announce the winner on Monday,
okay.
But since Toni will be gone, it won't be back until Tuesday. It's going to be Tuesday before we announce that winner. Okay?
Because she wants to give away the prizes.
Well, see, all of the picks go to her email.
Well,
and she has decided that she's not checking email while she's in Orlando.
Is she? Do we know if she going to see the mouse while she's down there?
Oh that's where they're going.
That was the trip.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, I love that place.
She's going to visit Democrat voters like Mickey Mouse and Goofy.
Nice.
They always vote for Democrats.
Very nice.
All right, let's go to Clarence. Say Clarence. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Clarence, there's Clarence. Hey Clarence.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey Clarence.
You know, I picked Tennessee, but I'm a little nervous about that pick.
Oh, yeah?
You know, after they beat Florida, you'd have thought they won the national championship. I think they spent about 15 or 20 minutes on the field with CBS showing the whole thing. The whole stadium was singing. The players were up in the stands.
Well, that's what happened when Ole Miss beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
But I could understand that a little more because Ole Miss had historically been down, as far as their performance goes. But Tennessee, this is Tennessee.
Yeah.
I understood the jubilation, but, then you wonder, well, are they going to get sky high again for the next week? And that's going to Georgia, and Georgia's not too fond of them.
That's
so I'm
true.
a little nervous about that pick myself, but we'll see.
Okay.
Hey, I heard you guys talking about the polls earlier. I'm sure you're all aware that for many years now, polls have been used to shape opinion, not reflect opinion.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, ever since the media has been in the pocket of the Democrats, which it's been many, many years.
I guess that's a polite way of saying that polls are often used to deceive and should not be trusted, but taken with a grain of salt. So that's my opinion on polls. I personally don't. I don't lie to a pollster, but if I don't feel like taking the poll, I'm not interested. I'm not a big fan of polls. And I heard you talking about the Trump rally earlier in the day. The Trump rally was in late February.
Okay. Oh, was it in February?
Yeah, I thought it was that
Oscar
early.
night. Yeah, it was late February.
Late February.
Well, I remember it being a halfway warm day. That's why I thought, it couldn't have been
very
February.
pretty day.
It
And
was.
to this day, I still come across images of Trump at the podium with his "Make America Great Again" hat on, with his blue Trump sign on the podium saying "Trump," text Trump, and then Madison, Alabama.
Yep.
So I think the bottom line on the Trump rally in Madison, Alabama, was a positive for both.
Good.
I don't think it was a negative for Madison. And I'm not a resident of Madison, Mayor, so you don't have to worry about my vote.
All right, Clarence.
And nothing disrespectful, but I do think the Trump rally was good for Madison, and I thought you had a very reasoned opinion about going to the council and all of that. The man didn't have a whole lot of time. He did, I think, the best he could. Trump did give the schools $20,000. I think all in all, it was a win-win.
Yeah, and you know what? You go back and you think through the election over the last 2 months. That wasn't a discussion that we ever brought up because, to me, the one factor that I think that you heard throughout the campaign was mayor and council aren't talking, and that's causing a lot of problems. This event was just one more example of that. But as far as what
symptom of the problem,
a symptom. But as far as what you're saying, I agree. To us, it wasn't that big of a deal, other than just it showcased just one more example. But for Madison to have our name associated with a major political campaign, it was a positive thing. So.
Absolutely, and if hopefully Trump becomes our next president, I would personally think that with his friendship with people like Jeff Sessions, Alabama won't be a forgotten state. We'll see.
There's no question with Jeff Sessions and Richard Shelby where they are. They'll be major contributors to the success of the Republican Party and Donald Trump if he's elected. There's
I saw
no question.
speculation last week, maybe a Secretary of State, Jeff Sessions.
Oh, really?
Saw that last week. I'm sure he'll be in the
Jeff
cabinet.
Sessions, and he's a fine man.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
He just if he'd only said Madison instead of Huntsville that day.
And that he probably made a mistake there, but I'm all for Madison.
And you go back and Madison residents understand where we fit into the big picture. You rarely move to Madison. You take a job with Redstone Arsenal or in Research Park, and you move your family here. And at that point, you determine where you're going to live. And a lot of times, if you have school-age kids, you find a way to live in Madison because the schools are really good and it's close to your work. It's just the reality of what it is. And then, so you understand it's the Huntsville metropolitan area of which Madison is a piece of. So, I'm sure Senator Sessions simply looked at it that way, and announced it that way. And if you're Madison, we're okay with that. We like being a part of the big team.
Well, you did bury the hatchet with Mayor battle.
We did.
So.
And we're going to bury a hatchet now with our city council. I mean, I've already bought it.
Good.
Good.
Excellent.
Yeah. So.
All right, Clarence. Thanks, buddy.
Well, Mayor, I do have a dear coworker who lives in Madison, and she not only voted for you, but she put a sign of yours in her yard.
Well, I like that person already. Listen a lot to her. She's smart.
She's a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Clarence. All right, we'll take us a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Mo Brooks, Congressman Mo Brooks, will be up at 7 o'clock.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by Lead Safe America.
On the road this morning, we're off to a good start. It's getting busy, though. More cars, trucks, and school buses on the road. Getting crowded around Athens and around Decatur, but so far no problems. No wrecks or stalls on the interstate or along the parkway. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
Does your child struggle to concentrate and pay attention? What looks like ADD or autism may actually be caused by lead poisoning. Lead is a neurotoxin. It can cause permanent brain damage. Find out how to protect your family. Go to leadsafeamerica.org.
Tired of getting the runaround? You won't at Jimmy Smith Buick GMC. Instead, we invite you to join the Preferred Owner Program. Whether you buy new or used, you'll get preferred treatment, including service. Come take advantage of the best offers of the year. Right now, you can get $9,000 off the Enclave or $5,000 off select Encore.
Come be a part of our family.
You'll find us on Highway 72 on the east side of Athens. Jimmy Smith Buick GMC.
We're your neighborhood dealer.
It's football season, and sometimes when your cash is running short, it may feel like the biggest linebacker in the world just pancaked you in the backfield. Don't just lay there in the grass. Get up and head to the Cash Master near you. Come to Cash Master for check advances up to $500, car title loans up to $2,500. For more info and all area locations, visit yourcashmaster.com.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
Someone you know is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they won't be able to get out of bed. Help someone you know and support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America at ccfa.org.
This is WBHP Huntsville, WHOS Decatur, and WDRM-FM HD2 Decatur, an iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The teenage shooter police say was behind yesterday's South Carolina school shooting spree killed his father at home first.
The two students and one teacher that were hurt in the shooting at Townville Elementary School are expected to be okay. Anderson County Deputy Chief Keith Smith says Jamie Brock, a 30-year veteran of Townville Volunteer Fire Department, took the suspected shooter down.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Hillary Clinton returns to Iowa for the first time since winning the state's first-in-the-nation caucuses. Donald Trump campaigning in New Hampshire. His team wants him to prepare for his next debate.
I think that they discovered that this idea of winging it probably is not the best one. There are a lot of Republicans who believe that there were a bunch of missed opportunities in the Monday debate, that he should have found a way to pivot from some of the questions that he was asked by the moderator, Lester Holt, into things that he really wanted to talk about.
Fox's John Roberts, Fox News. We report, you decide.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by Foundation for a Better Life.
On the road this morning, we're off to a good start. It's getting busy, though. More cars, trucks, and school buses on the road. Getting crowded around Athens and around Decatur, but so far no problems. No wrecks or stalls on the interstate or along the parkway. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor. Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life at Values.com.
Talking with Russ and Andy of Last Resort Guns on County Line Road in Madison. Coming up, the NRA First Steps Pistol Course for Semi-Automatic Pistols. Russ?
This is a introductory course. A big chunk of it talks about just basically selecting a pistol, finding what works for you. There's an opportunity to explore different sorts of pistol, look at a whole raft of information. It faces the new shooter. But basically this course is very much an introductory course for people who are maybe currently not shooters or have only done very limited amount of shooting in the past. The course will take you through that sort of initial hurdle, a chance to look at the hardware, make a selection of what suits you, and to practice with it.
Visit Last Resort Guns in Madison on County Line Road just south of Palmer Road, or give them a call today, 256-774-5741. That's Last Resort Guns.
It's time to think real estate, buying, selling, or renting. Carrie Rosenblum with Rosenblum Realty, representing 55 years of experience, says that the rental business in the Tennessee Valley is a very important factor.
It is. We provide a service of finding a rental home for a family or individual in the Tennessee Valley. We've got a good selection. And homes can include condominiums and also townhomes, any number of single-family dwellings in the area. We have a good selection, and what we encourage people to do to go to our website at rosenblumrealty.com, click the rental button, they can find the one that fits their budget. It's a great option for people that come to town brand new, trying to learn the area before they buy, or maybe someone just that's the best fit for them. Come see us at Rosenblum Realty. We'll find the rental you need.
And they find you by calling
256-539-9501.
Or they'll find you on the web
at rosenblumrealty.com.
It's Rosenblum Realty. Kerry Rosenblum, the man to talk to from Rosenblum Realty.
This is Michael Berry. Join me this afternoon at 5. Now back to Toni and Gary on the Valley's Big Talker, 800 and 1230 WBHP.
.703 on the morning show. Welcome back. We've got Congressman Mo Brooks on the line with us. We also have, by the way, Tony Lowry is out and down in Orlando visiting Democrat voters, Mickey Mouse and Goofy. So we have in studio Madison Mayor, I guess it would be technically Mayor-elect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mayor Trulock. Madison Mayor-elect Paul Finley. Also we have a listener, Wayne Blocker, in studio with us, as well as Jimmy Boy. So we appreciate you guys coming in. So we have Congressman Mo Brooks, who was a busy man yesterday. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Hope you're doing great. Great, thanks.
So you had a busy day yesterday, Congressman.
It was pretty long, yes, sir.
So you started out with a veto or an override of the president's veto.
We did. It's a bill called JASTA, J-A-S-T-A, which is another one of those acronyms that we use in Washington, D.C. The gist of it is it enables the victims of terrorist acts in the United States of America to have better capabilities of suing in federal court for compensation from foreign actors, including foreign nations, when those foreign nations are supporting, as our laws define supporting, those terrorist activities on American soil. I thought it was an appropriate thing to do, to give American citizens the kinds of opportunity for redress and compensation for injuries suffered that we normally give in America to American citizens. I was surprised that the president vetoed it. I thought it was a bad move on the president's part. Well, as did apparently 97 out of 98 senators who voted on it, and the vast majority of House members who also voted to override the president's veto.
Well, he said that it would harm the relations between the Americans and the Saudis. What do you think about that?
Well, if the Saudis do something wrong and they contribute to the death of Americans, the relationship should include the ability of Americans to seek redress against the Saudis. That's if the Saudis have done those things. And I don't know if they have or not. And I'm sure that there will be lawsuits filed, and there will be evidence that is presented. And a jury, which is the American way, will make a determination as to which foreign actors participated in the death of over 3,000 Americans back in 2001, and with respect to other terrorist activities. If you want to be a friend of the United States of America, please don't help terrorists kill Americans. It's pretty simple.
Right.
And Congressman, do you think it would work the same way, vice versa, if in any other foreign country an American or the American government was found behind one of these things, that the same thing could happen to us?
Well, those other nations could pass laws similar to this one. Probably
Right.
some of those nations around the globe already have laws similar to
Exactly.
this one. Now, whether the United States of America would respect those judgments and verdicts, I don't know. And, I'm somewhat skeptical of that argument. And the reason I'm skeptical is because most of these nations where we are engaged in military activities, we're engaged in military activities because they want us there to help protect them from enemies that will do great damage to them. So if they want to sue the United States of America for when we try to kill, say, Al-Qaeda
Right.
or Islamic Status or other terrorists, if they want to sue the United States of America when there's collateral damage, well, they're basically signing their own death warrants because we're the ones that are providing the protective shield that allows a lot of these governments to stay in power.
Yeah,
That's right. Well, and that's one of the things Trump hits on is we're helping all these folks with our military and then get nothing for it in return.
Well,
I mean, think about it. If it wasn't for the United States of America, the Saudis probably would not be in control. The Saudi family probably would not be in control of the Saudi kingdom. They have much bigger enemies internally and externally to worry about than this type of litigation. Now, of course, they're going to protest it like anybody else. They don't want to be involved in this, and if they were involved, to the extent that they have liability, they don't want that liability publicly known. So they're upset that they might be held accountable to the extent that they did something wrong. But I'm sorry, if they did something wrong that resulted in the death of Americans, they should be held accountable just as normal Americans, you and me. If we do something wrong, say we have a wreck on the interstate and someone's injured as a consequence of our bad driving, we're held accountable. I don't see why we should have a lesser standard for friends or foe around the globe.
Well, and it based on the vote that came through in your override, as you said, only one person agreed with him, and so I think obviously the right thing to do. I want to shift gears for just a minute because we talked about the debate here earlier in the show, and as someone who is such a good debater and known for his debating skills, what were your thoughts on Monday night's debate, Congressman?
Well, I had two thoughts, and I'm going to approach it strictly from a debater standpoint. I was a high school debater on a state championship team at Grissom High School, and then I debated a little bit, not so much, at Duke University, and I've also judged debates.
And you have debated Parker Griffith, Congressman Brooks.
I've done a lot of those kinds of things. From a purely stylistic and who's keeping track of which arguments are advanced and whether those arguments are properly rebutted or not, Donald Trump did not have his best day.
Okay.
But in terms of, and this is a political debate, so in terms of moving the needle, how do you impact voters? Because that's the ultimate goal of this kind of debate. So I'm going to move away from a typical debate judging standard to a political impact standard. It appears that Hillary Clinton may have moved the needle in her favor just a little bit, but it's a mixed bag. You've got some polls, like the Los Angeles Times tracking poll, that actually has shown Donald Trump doing a little bit better. On the other hand, you've got other polls that have shown Hillary Clinton doing a little bit better. So in terms of impacting the voter electorate out there, it's probably closer to a draw than anything else, but we'll know more by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when we have a larger set of polls and we can compare this week's polling data to the previous week's polling data.
I suspect Mike Pence will do a lot better against Tim Kaine coming up Tuesday night.
I would hope so. I know Mike personally. Back in 2011, I was encouraging him to run for President of the United States in 2012. Distinctly remember doing that on the House floor, but he was intent on running for governor of the state of Indiana first, which he did and which he was elected to. Mike is a solid conservative. You can count on him to do the right thing. You can trust him when he tells you he's got a position that it's one that he really believes in, that he's not taking that position for the convenience of the moment. I don't know what Mike's debate skills are, though. I've not seen him in a debate format, so it's going to be interesting to observe him in the pressure cooker of a presidential or vice presidential debate. Entirely different setting than when you're on the House floor.
Well, and then also yesterday, you guys actually passed a stopgap spending bill.
It did pass. It probably was not a good thing. I mean, it's good to fund the government, but there were a lot of things in it that were bad. For example, many of us wanted to cut off the monies that the president is using to import unvetted, the president wants to call them refugees, I'll call them immigrants, from Middle Eastern countries, where as a consequence, Americans are eventually going to die as a result of the president's policy. It's just a question of how many of us are going to die at the hands of people who are unvetted. Some of them are probably affiliated in some shape, form, or fashion with the Islamic State or other terrorist-centered organizations. That was funded, and it should have been funded. And I voted against the bill as an aside. There were some good things in it, no question, but gosh, there were some bad things. As a part of the continuing resolution to fund the government, there was also a Water Resources Development Act. They were tied together, and it forces Alabama taxpayers to bail out bad government by Democrat elected officials in Flint, Michigan, where they couldn't even supply safe water to their citizens, in large part because, as is so often the case in Democrat-controlled areas of the government, the money is siphoned off away from capital improvements to unions, higher pay, better benefits for workers, which are good things, but you got to have the money to pay for them and the basic infrastructure. And Paul Finley knows that. He's been a mayor. You've got to have roads. You've got to have water supply. You've got to have sewage. You've got to have garbage pickup. There are essential things that have to be done with the taxpayers' money. And to the extent you can be generous or more generous with your employees, that's also a good thing, because you want your employees to be content in their jobs, and with the expertise that they've developed over time, you want to pay them enough to keep them. But in Flint, Michigan, and a lot of other major Democrat-controlled areas, there seems to be an imbalance between basic services to constituents and higher pay for the people who receive the taxpayer dollars. And in Flint, Michigan, they did a bad job. And to contrast that with, say, Jefferson County, they had bad government too. And that bad government resulted in, if I recall correctly, a bankruptcy of Jefferson County because of the sewage system. People were indicted, including county commissioners who had to serve time in the federal penitentiary.
Mayors?
They did not get bailed out by the federal government like Flint, Michigan did, so there was a double standard. Another thing, Zika monies under this legislation are being diverted to providers of abortion, and a lot of Americans are not happy with tax dollars being used to pay for other people's abortions.
Wow.
A lot of Americans don't want abortions, period. They don't like the idea of killing an unborn child in the mother's womb, but it adds salt to the wound when they discover that it's their own money that is being used, taken in taxes, that's being used to pay for those abortions. And then finally, the big overall picture is our finances. Congress and the White House, and the deal that was cut, as is so often the case, they decided to spend more money, not less. And when you've got the Congressional Budget Office that is warning us, again, that our financial condition is deteriorating at a more rapid pace than was anticipated, that this year's deficit is going to be about $151 billion more than last year's deficit, and that the financial year that begins October 1st, the CBO is telling us that that's even going to be worse than this year. This was an opportunity to try to balance our books, and instead of using that opportunity, the House, the Senate, and the White House, they decided to spend a whole lot more money. They failed at being financially responsible, and that's going to be another burden that our kids and grandkids are going to have to carry as we once again break into their piggy bank and steal their money.
So how do you change that, Congressman? Because to me, what I hear you saying is we're for good government, but because as government we wait till the last minute to make this financial decision, that in turn we're kind of held hostage because people keep adding things that to us are wants versus needs But because we waited so long in the cycle, we got to go ahead and pass a stopgap measure so they kind of have us where they want us. How do you change that?
That's not done by accident. That's done by design.
I understand that. So how do we change it?
If we actually pass the appropriation bills as we're supposed to in May, June, July, August, September, early September, and whatnot, and there are about a dozen of them that should be passed to fund the federal government. If we actually did that, then there would not be this last-second crisis. And as Saul Alinsky and others have pointed out, never let a good crisis go to waste. And so the way to get things done that the general public does not want done, but which a particular special interest group has lobbied a senator to get done, and there's probably a lot of campaign money changing hands, same thing on the House side. The way to get those bad things done is to create a crisis environment. The way to create a crisis environment is to block all of these appropriation bills until there is a shutdown risk, at which point you have to weigh the shutdown risk versus the bad things that are in this legislation. And the leadership knows that if you create that crisis, leadership of the House, the Senate, and the White House, they all know that if you create that crisis, then you can get those bad things done that help finance those campaigns through the largesse of the special interest groups who have benefited from those bad things. And the only way to correct it is for the American people to send to Washington a lot of better congressmen and senators who care more about their fiduciary duty to the citizens of this nation and to the United States of America generally than what we have up here right now. By way of example, we've had about 470 or 80 congressmen and senators who have been up for election this year and have already gone through primaries. You know how many have lost their election? 5. Yeah. 99% return rate in a year in which there's supposed to be an anti-establishment fervor as established by Donald Trump being the Republican nominee. And we've got people in Alabama, Massachusetts, California, I mean, pick your state, who are wholly and completely financially irresponsible. And if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say that maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20% of us understand the risk associated with our finances deteriorating as rapidly as they are, who heed the warnings of the Congressional Budget Office and the Comptroller General of the United States, who tell us that our financial path is unsustainable, who heed the warnings of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who identifies our deficit and our debt as our greatest national security threat, and we're voting accordingly. But 15, 10, 20%, that's not a winning number. You have to have 51%. And so the American people have to start looking longer term and understand the debilitating effect of an insolvency and bankruptcy, the destruction that would brought with our economy, and the millions of people, maybe tens of millions of people under a worst-case scenario who could lose their lives as things cascade out of control. And the American people don't have that understanding, and so they're not demanding of their congressmen and senators and presidents that they be financially responsible. The general attitude all too often is, I want this, and I want it now, and I want somebody else to pay for it. Well, that just doesn't work long-term.
No.
No.
Hey, so Congressman Tony and I had this conversation about the budget a couple of weeks ago, and she was making the point that they needed just to pass a stopgap and kick it to December somewhere, since it's an election year. And then I pushed back on it. I said, what about let's follow the law and let's have a suspending bill passed and sent to the president's desk by September 30th, the way it's supposed to be done. And she said, well, now usually I'm with you on that, but since this is an election year, we don't want the Democrats using a government shutdown, hanging that over our heads to try and draw votes over to the Democrat side. What's your feelings on that?
Well, the Democrats are not dummies. They're pretty smart strategists, and they've got the backbone to stand behind their beliefs. And they know, and we haven't passed, well, let me back up. The House of Representatives, where I am, we have passed a lot of appropriations bills since I've been in the United States Congress. A lot, okay? But eventually each year we quit because the Democrats in the Senate tell us, you can pass them all you want to, but we're going to kill them in the United States Senate. And the Democrats in the Senate every year have been successful in killing probably 98, 99% of the appropriation bills that we've sent to the United States Senate. Now you have to ask, well, why are they doing that? Well, if if we, with our belief system and our priority system as conservatives, people who tend to be a little bit more financially responsible than the Democrats, if we have our policies implemented in those appropriation bills, well, then that tends to undercut what the Democrats believe in and want. And so they have figured out that if they kill every one of these appropriation bills, then every single year they can create this crisis situation. And based on the polling data that we had from 2013, where the Republican brand went down about 10 points because of that government shutdown, the Democrats are convinced that our House and Senate leadership will collapse. And every single year, the House and Senate leadership has collapsed and given the Democrats virtually everything they want. And keep in mind that when you have a continuing resolution, what does that mean? That funding is supposed to be akin and priorities are supposed to be similar to what you had the previous year. And if you keep going back, the last time then was 2008, 2009, 2010 in that ballpark when the Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House. And so they've been able to continue their priorities of spending to the current date by killing the appropriation bills, which are the vehicles by which our policies and priorities would have been put into play. So it's a pretty smart strategy on the part of the Democrats. Unfortunately, we don't have enough Republicans in the House and the Senate with the backbone to take them on and to do the right thing. And for example, we should not have been bailing out Flint, Michigan. That is something that the Flint citizens should have been paying for, or perhaps the state of Michigan. But I don't know of any fault on the part of Alabama taxpayers that justifies us bailing them out. And this is not akin to a natural disaster like a Hurricane Katrina or an earthquake in California or a tornado, something over which you have no control. Delivery of water to your citizens, that is 100% within the control of your elected officials. And they have done a bad job over the decades in Flint, Michigan of electing good mayors and city councilmen and water control people, whoever they are. And so this was a man-made problem. It was not a natural disaster. And you need to hold people accountable when they make bad decisions so that they won't keep making bad decisions. And unfortunately, the message here is go ahead and make a bad decision. American taxpayers will bail you out for those bad decisions. And that's not fair to American taxpayers who have done the right thing by electing good people to public office and have properly minded their own affairs and done so well.
So conservatives in Congress had been arguing that as far as the Zika money goes, instead of a whole new pot of money for Zika, what they wanted to do was take what was left over from Ebola, since Ebola apparently is no longer an issue, take that money and move it over to Zika funding. However, Democrats, for whatever reason, didn't want to do that. Did that happen, or how did that shake out?
I don't know the answer to that. That was one of the battles. Again, with what has happened over the last couple of days, you're suddenly seeing a bill that spends hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's tossed at you last second so that you don't have the time to fully read it and fully understand it. And that's done by design, because the more people have the time to fully read it and fully understand it, then the more problems are discovered. In particular, this process of waiting to the last second and then putting together a bill at the last second is done so that the voters can't find out what's in the legislation with sufficient time for them to understand it and communicate to their senators and House members. And so I don't know how that particular issue was resolved. I'm more familiar with some of the other ones, but it wouldn't surprise me if the House and Senate leadership, once we've had more time to actually read this legislation, if we discover more flaws with it. But I saw enough and understood enough to know that it was not in the best interest of America long term, and I voted against it.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you about was the internet. Are we turning everything over to the UN and not next month?
I don't know how that was impacted by the legislation that passed last night. If I were to guess, I would say that the president was not denied the funding that would have blocked him from giving away the internet that has been to a very large degree within the domain of the United States of America. And let me mention something else about the deal last night. Are you familiar with the water wars between Alabama and Georgia and Florida? Well, the state of Georgia was able to put into, I believe it was the WRDA bill, which is the Water Resources Development Act bill that was a companion to the continuing resolution bill as part of an overall deal, legislation that hurts the state of Alabama with respect to those people, particularly in the Wiregrass, but along the eastern and southern boundaries of the state of Alabama, to have access to clean and potable water from the Chattahoochee River. And I'm going to not pronounce this right, but down in Florida, Apalachicola Bay or something like that.
Sounds good to me.
Well, it's a whole bunch of consonants and vowels. Apalachicola Bay, I think that's how you pronounce it. I got it right that time.
Yeah.
They have a seafood issue because if you don't have good water flowing down and don't have enough of it, then that adversely affects the ability of certain kinds of mollusk and fish to reproduce. And Georgia was able to sneak in some language that tips the scales in favor of Georgia, where they'll be able to take more of that water so that less of that water is available for Alabama citizens and for Apalachicola Bay down in Florida, with an adverse effect on their fishing industry down there. So that was another reason to be against it. The governor's office called us and asked us House members to oppose that bill. And if I recall correctly, 5 of the 6 of us did on the Water Resource Development Act side of the coin. But gosh, so many people got so much pork in that legislation, it passed overwhelmingly.
Wow. So I guess I do have one more question, and you can tell me you don't want to answer it. That's fine with me. Were you disappointed in Ted Cruz's endorsement of Donald Trump?
No, I wasn't disappointed. I publicly said that you've got 2 teams who are competing for control of the United States of America. One's Republican and one's Democrat. And I firmly believe that our team, top to bottom, has the better solutions for the challenges we face. And I'm encouraging people to vote for all the Republicans on the ballot.
Wow.
And I've had that position now for about 2 or 3 months, and I've been making those same statements in public arenas. I wish Ted Cruz at the Republican National Convention had taken a similar approach. But he chose not to. Now, a lot of people remember that I was a Ted Cruz supporter, and I think Senator Ted Cruz, he would have done very, very well against Hillary Clinton in the debate this past Monday night. He's much more experienced at it,
far and away better,
and knows the value of preparation. And but in fairness to Donald Trump, what he's been doing got him to where he is. So he may know a whole bunch of things that the rest of us don't know, based on the success record that he's shown to date. But I've talked to Ted Cruz about all this, and I wish he'd taken a different approach during the Republican National Convention. And I can understand where Ted's coming from. I mean, you've got a guy who suggests that Ted Cruz's father was involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Yeah. You've got a guy who put out a tweet or an emailer or a flyer or whatever you want to call it that had a glamour photo of Melania Trump and a real bad photo of Heidi Cruz, suggesting that Heidi Cruz was ugly, so therefore vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
I can understand
there was a lot of
Ted
stuff
Cruz's hesitancy there, but there's a much bigger picture.
Yeah.
And the much bigger picture is the United States Supreme Court and other issues, and I firmly believe that America will be in better shape if our Republican team does better than the Democrat team, so that our policies are in a better position to be implemented, as opposed to what the Democrats are doing. And basically, they're the Socialist Party now. And socialism has never worked in any nation that has ever tried it, and yet they keep going in that direction. And Bernie Sanders is probably the best evidence as to how far off the cliff the Democrats have gone when he competes, and he's openly admitting that he's a socialist. Most all the Democrats are, but they don't openly admit it like Bernie Sanders did, and Bernie Sanders had a huge vote.
I heard someone say yesterday, well, it should be God, family, then country. But you can't have a successful and a wonderful family without a wonderful country, can you?
Well, you got to have a wonderful country.
Yeah.
If you go to some of these countries that are not the stature, the liberty of the United States of America, everything else is undermined. It's difficult to worship God when you're dead. And in Iraq and Syria, where things have deteriorated significantly, if you in some areas profess that you're a Christian or a Jew or some other religion other than Muslim, you were very quickly executed in the most horrific of ways. And you can't have much of a family if they're getting killed around you because of anarchy or other kinds of violence that are so prevalent and so common in so many other parts of the planet.
Well, Hillary Clinton has taken a whole bunch of money from those countries. I was going to say Hillary Clinton has taken a whole bunch of money from those countries that hate gay people and kill for just ridiculous reasons.
And along those lines, Congressman, the one question I had is, as you look to the next Clinton-Trump debate, what is it that Donald Trump can – what's going to stick to Hillary Clinton? What is it, if you were debating, that you would focus on that you think could make the biggest difference in swaying any of the independent voters? Where would you
focus on the future of America. I would focus on the deficit and debt and explain it in such a way that the light bulb goes off in the minds of voters and contrast myself to Hillary Clinton. I'd talk about border security and the jobs that are being taken from Americans and lawful immigrants, and the wage suppression that is hurting so many American families. Hillary Clinton has done a pretty good job of talking in terms of the immigrant who wants to come here, even if they're coming here illegally. And you've got to be sympathetic towards the circumstances that they face in the countries they have left and their desire to come to the United States of America. But you have to turn the debate away from focusing on the sympathy towards that immigrant or illegal alien, as the case may be, to sympathy for Americans or lawful immigrants who have come here the right way and the damage that's being done to their lives from this huge surge in the labor supply. And I like to use one example that's kind of stark, but I think it strikes home the point. Between 2000 and 2014, a 14-year period of time, in the age bracket 16 to 65, pretty big age bracket, 16 to 65, the American economy had a net gain of 5.6 million jobs. People who were born in America, how many of those 5.6 million jobs did they get? And the answer is minus 127,000. People born in other countries had a net job gain of 5.7 million. Wow. Now, those are our kids who are struggling. Those are kids in Ferguson, Missouri, in Baltimore, Maryland, in Charlotte, in all these places where you're seeing these demonstrations and sometimes violence, who are not able to seize the American dream because we have had this huge surge of foreign labor that is undercutting our wages and taking jobs that otherwise would have gone to Americans, and it's having a huge trickle-down effect. So, particularly on people who are blue-collar workers.
So so you started with economy. We have to focus on those people. That's what I would do if I were Donald Trump. Yeah, you started with economy, and you basically, and I fully agree with you, because to me, what Donald Trump's business world, he should be able to equate what he did in the business world to how it's going to make a difference for my life. And from an economy standpoint, where it's going to make a difference in your pocketbook. So I agree with what you said, and it's where I'd start.
Well, Congressman Brooks, we appreciate you coming on with us. We're we're way over time, is what we are. So
I enjoy it. Y'all take care.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thanks, Congressman.
All right, we'll take us a break, and when we come back, I'm going straight to the phones. I know you guys have been hanging forever, but we'll be right back.
Listen to Toni and Gary on your smartphone.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen anywhere in the U.S.
And we're on HD Radio 102.1-2. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's the morning show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
America is taking the lead in energy,
leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs, opportunity, and economic growth for our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election,
I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
Gary Dobbs here talking with Stuart Tanksley of ProFence of the Tennessee Valley. Stuart, tell us what you do.
We build just about
any kind of fence you want within reason, obviously. We try to ensure that our customers get what they pay for and they get the best value. I like to sell people on quality instead of price, but there's an old adage that says, you get what you pay for. And, that's something that we're proud to stand behind. We build a better quality product by taking extra steps and extra measures that we don't charge extra for. And, being a small business versus some of our competitors, we don't have the huge overhead.
And with lower overhead, you can pass that savings along to your customers. So give ProFence a call. Talk to Stuart Tanksley. The number is 584-0092. That's 256-584-0092. If you want a fence built right and you want to save money, you need to be talking to ProFence.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Slow traffic on University this morning, but no wrecks or stalls. We're not spotting any problems around Athens. You folks leaving Decatur, heading toward the Arsenal, some slow and go traffic on 565, starting back at I-65. Slow and go around the airport, heading toward the Arsenal. On the Parkway, some slow and go traffic around Martin Road, but right now no wrecks or stalls. No problems on 431 around Big Cove. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Now, your official WBHP Weather Center forecast.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
I'm WHNT News 19 meteorologist Ben Smith. It'll be the coolest afternoon since the middle of May in the Tennessee Valley. A mixture of clouds and sunshine, only an isolated shower. High temperatures in the lower 70s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the lower 50s. On Friday, mixture of clouds and sunshine. Rain chances only at 10% with highs around 75. Take my forecast and WBHP with you everywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app at WBHPAM.com.
In places around the world, there are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at unbound.org.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
America is taking the lead in energy.
Leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs, opportunity, and economic growth
For our children
And grandchildren.
That's why this election,
I'm voting
For American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
So why do people drive from all over the Southeast to Eddie Pruitt Ford?
Tremendous savings on new Ford cars and trucks. crossovers, and SUVs.
Right now, great buys at Eddie Pruitt Ford. Great incentives from Ford Motor Company as well as from Eddie Pruitt himself. And he's got those program vehicles with still under factory warranty mileage on them at Eddie Pruitt Ford, and you can save thousands and thousands of dollars. And at Eddie Pruitt Ford, every new Ford comes with a powertrain lifetime warranty. You heard me right. A lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Ford sold at Eddie Pruitt Ford. So do like I do and have been doing for years. I head over to Hartselle, Alabama, Highway 31 and do business with my friend Eddie Pruitt. And you'll do it too because he'll treat you right at Eddie Pruitt Ford, Highway 31, Hartselle.
The Car Pro is now on Facebook.
Of course, the Car Pro's on Facebook. I'm Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro. Let's do the Car Pro Show and call in. Or reach us anytime by hitting the Facebook link at carprousa.com.
Saturdays noon to 3 and Sundays 9 to 11 a.m. on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
You've seen it in the 1943 picture Bombardier, in I Wanted Wings, and even in Test Pilot featuring Clark Gable. Now you can fly in one of the last airworthy B-17 bombers at the Coleman Regional Airport, November 4th through 6th. Learn more at eaa.org/Coleman.
The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Slow traffic on University this morning, but no wrecks or stalls. We're not spotting any problems around Athens. For you folks leaving Decatur, heading toward the Arsenal, some slow-and-go traffic on 565, starting back at I-65. Slow-and-go around the airport, heading toward the Arsenal. On the Parkway, some slow-and-go traffic around Martin Road, but right now no wrecks or stalls. No problems on 431 around Big Cove. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
If you're involved in youth or high school sports, you need to know about Positive Coaching Alliance. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people. PCA workshops help coaches, parents, and student athletes pursue winning in life lessons through sports. Visit positivecoach.org.
WBHP is available everywhere you want to listen on our free iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
Hey, this is Bo Thomas with Thomas HVAC Company. It's football season. That means I'll be giving away $100 in cash to one Toni and Gary listener each week.
The Toni and Gary SEC Football Pick'em Contest. Find out more online at ToniandGary.com and listen weekdays 5 to 8 a.m. here on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
Welcome back to the morning show. Okay, what are we giving away?
$40 for Popeye's Cajun Fried Chicken. Movie passes for two at Hollywood 18. Family 4-pack to the Botanical Gardens. $20 from Dunkin' Donuts, Huntsville and Madison. And today is Big Prize Giveaway Thursday, so we've added $100 to Nick's Ristorante on South Bailey Cove in Huntsville.
And a day pass to the range at Last Resort Guns, County Line Road in Madison.
All you have to do is call us. At the end of the show, we'll draw from all the people who have called in, and that person wins.
534-3521 and 309-2313.
Well, that is Big Prize Giveaway Thursday, and we have some trivia to get to you. So a study now shows that there are office-based jobs that give you more bacteria than others, that have you touching more bacteria than others. I have the top 9 list, and I have number 1 was teacher, number 3 was banker or cashier, and number 5 was doctor. So a study shows which office-based jobs have the most bacteria. That's our trivia this morning. Let's get straight to the phones, and we'll talk to Bobby first. Hey, Bobby.
Morning, Corey. I about forgot the trivia question. It's been on hold so long.
Well, you know, Congressman Brooks came first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's a little long-winded sometimes.
Yeah, he's a politician. All right.
Like all of them.
So a study shows which office... Go ahead.
Yeah, on the trivia question, radio DJ.
You know what? I didn't think anybody would ever say that. But yeah, that's number 4. That's above doctor, a radio host.
Oh, wow.
And I understand that because this mic, now luckily I'm the only one that uses this one in here, but there can be some nasty stuff that ends up on the mic.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I forgot about
as I moved back a foot.
Well, Jimmy, you and Mayor Finley have pea poppers that have screens in front of you, so that's
true.
not too
we
bad.
got the filters.
Wayne, you do not.
I'm a risk taker.
All right, Bobby. You're in there. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Up next is Bob. Hey, Bob.
Hey, good morning, Corey. On that trivia, I was thinking about that one yesterday. Probably most bacteria would be with a parent.
A parent. Let's see. No, that's not on here. Teacher.
Yeah, it's not a true office job, but I mean, I've changed more than one diaper, so I know that's a.
Yeah, well, you can grab a hold of some bacteria when you change a diaper. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, when the congressman was on, did he mention how long the stopgap bill is?
Yeah, until December 9th.
Okay, so it will hit us again there pretty soon. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
super. Thanks.
All right, Bob. Thanks. Up next is James. Say, James.
Good morning, young man. How are you?
I'm doing just peachy. How are you?
Yeah, me too. I think Obama received his first defeat by getting his veto overridden. And I think it's a wonderful first step. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, it felt good to see him get overridden, didn't it?
It just made my heart glad. Warmed the cockles in my heart. You know, he's really a wonderful human being, though.
Well,
that's right.
He found out yesterday who his true friends are, and that one is Harry Reid. Harry Reid voted with him in the Senate.
Good God.
I know.
Can you imagine? One vote in his favor, Harry Reid.
Yep.
It stands to reason. Harry Reid is a diehard, absolute. But when Harry Reid first came in the Senate, he was an entirely different human being. Today, or at least, he professed to be a different human being. What he is today is, I think, what he really is. Anyway, man, great talking to you. Great show. You have a great day, okay?
Thanks, James. You too. Well, now Harry Reid doesn't have anything to vote for. I mean, he can vote the way he wants, not the way his constituents want, because he's not.
No, he doesn't have to worry about it. But you turn around and you think about President Obama's decision to veto that, knowing full well. I mean, you don't make that decision, and he knows he's going to be overridden. Right? So he is purposefully saying who he supports.
Yeah, he really is, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, because he knows he's going to get overridden, so he's making a statement to Saudi Arabia.
And I saw that David Ernest, the White House press secretary, was asked about it yesterday during the press conference, and he said something to the effect of, well, the White House is embarrassed for what just happened in Congress.
Right.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming, and yet you still vetoed it. All right. Up next would be Mark. Hey, Mark.
Corey, good morning. Josh Ernest, not to correct you,
yes,
but
you're right, Josh.
It's Thursday. I want to get qualified, so I don't want to be on too long. But hey, the tickets last week for Tate Farms.
Yes, sir.
Are we supposed to pick those up, or are the lady supposed to mail them to us?
Now, did you win last week?
I did, and she said that she would mail them, but then I heard my wife said she heard you on the radio saying to pick them up, so I just want to make sure I did the right thing.
Well, yes, she does have the addresses, and she planned. I think they may have gone out yesterday, Mark.
Okay, so they'll be coming in the mail then?
Yes. Yes, they will.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good week.
Thank you, buddy. You too. Okay, up next would be Donald. Hey, Donald.
Good morning, Corey. Tony, how's everybody doing this morning?
Well, we're doing fine. We're not sure how Tony is. Yeah. Paul, you're sitting in her seat. How is Tony?
It seems comfortable at the moment.
You won't believe this throne that Tony has.
That's right. Yeah, it's comfortable.
Palatial.
Tony's throne.
I was going to ask you a question there, Corey. Now, when people vote, they go by electoral votes, right?
Right, for the general election. Mm-hmm.
General election, like the delegates.
The delegates is pretty much the primary, and then you have the electoral college for the general election.
So our vote around here goes to what?
Well, our primary vote went to Donald Trump during the convention, and then we'll have to vote again to find out. Surely it won't be Hillary Clinton, but we'll have to vote again in November to find out where our electoral college votes go. Yes.
Yeah,
and I think we have 9.
The last vote, so no matter what, I mean, like if if my vote and most of the majority of votes around here go for a certain, just say Trump or whatever, but if that, I mean, do they still have to? Can they put in there what they want, or they have to go by what the people?
So your question is, can the Electoral College pull the shenanigans that delegates across the country tried to pull during the primary at the conventions? I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to do some research. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you think that if the majority votes around here are for a certain person, then can they still vote, or can they still put in there who they want to, or I mean, like.
I'll do some research on that, Donald, because I don't know the answer to that.
Well, there was a member of the Georgia Electoral College who declared that he would never vote for Trump, and he's been replaced.
Well, there you have
already.
Well, see, and that was, thanks, Donald, for the call, and that's one of the points Tony and I made. When you have your delegates, when you elect your delegates for the primary season, there are alternate delegates. So if those delegates up in, was it Pennsylvania, that actually brought the lawsuit, says, I need to vote my conscience, and Donald Trump's not my conscience, and I don't care what the voters said. Well, those folks should have stepped down and allowed the alternate delegate to step up. If he couldn't fulfill his position, he should have stepped down. That's the way we looked at it. And that I would hope that's the way it happened in Georgia, it looks like, for that Electoral College voter.
Well, the Electoral College votes actually go to Congress and get counted there.
Okay.
And so I would think that the congressman would be able to look at a vote that was a contrary vote and either disqualify it or override it.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that Congress is in charge of that, Wayne.
Well, they are in charge of counting them.
Well, it's
a report that's given to them. So.
Sure. All right, well, we'll have to take us a break here, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Miss Toni and Gary? Listen to our podcast, free anytime, day or night.
And check out our blog at ToniandGary.com with links to the podcast, email, iHeartRadio, listen online, and all the latest stories and video.
And like us on Facebook. Go to Facebook.com/Toni and Gary.
It's the morning show with Toni and Gary on 800 and 1230 WBHP.
From the Tennessee Valley to your radio, it's WBHP's Valley Happenings.
Operation Green Team invites you to Yoga by the River at Hayes Nature Preserve each Saturday in September and October. Whitney Rose leads a relaxing yet energizing morning of yoga beside the waters of the Flint River. Sessions are free and begin at 9 a.m. Yoga can improve mood and overall physical fitness and can reduce heart rate and blood pressure. Bring a yoga mat or towel and dress comfortably. More information can be found at huntsvilleal.gov/green team or 256-53-CLEAN.
And that's what's happening. For more information on Valley Happenings, log on to WBHPAM.com, keyword events. The traffic info you need now. Here's a WBHP Time Saver traffic update.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Slow traffic around Athens on Highway 72 and Highway 31, just volume there. It's crowded around Decatur, a lot of folks on the road. It's crowded as well on 565 heading eastbound from I-65 past the airport toward the Arsenal. We're spotting slow traffic on the Parkway, heavy and slow, getting through the construction zone on the Parkway around Martin Road. A 431, right now no wrecks or stalls around Big Cove. I'm Captain Carl in the Hardee's Traffic Center.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
America is taking the lead in energy.
Leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs. Opportunity and economic growth. For our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election,
I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
not available in all states.
Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3737. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3737.
Put Toni and Gary in your back pocket. Listen on your phone with the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, it's 7:55 on the morning show. Thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate it this morning. I don't think we're going to have time to get anybody else on, but everybody's holding. You're on the list for Big Prize Giveaway Thursday. Toni is horrible about this. She'll give out some of these trivias, and she'll never give the answers if all the answers aren't given. So I'm going to try to do that. So a study shows which office-based jobs host the most bacteria.
Any sort of housekeeping type of job on that list?
Housekeeping's not on there, no.
Or politician with all the handshaking they do?
Dentist?
Dentist is not on there. Politician's not on there. Wayne?
Daycare worker.
No, that's a teacher was on here. Maybe that lumps. Okay, so number 1 was teacher. Number 2, accountant. Number 3 was banker. Radio host, number 4. Doctor, number 5. Then we had television producer, number 6. Consultant. Consultant.
Yeah.
Paul?
I don't know how.
Publicist and a lawyer was number 9.
Lawyer.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be back and announce today's winner.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
HVAC and Bo, you've got a very special offer this time of year.
We've got a special going right now. Our Precision Tune-Ups, a $260 value. We're going to offer those on sale right now for a limited time only for $79. We'll come out, we'll check everything, we'll clean the entire system, we'll make sure it's running at peak performance, make sure we're getting all the efficiency out of it. It'll restore the capacity.
Save some money.
Save some money on the energy cost, and make sure we're doing everything we can so it doesn't break down.
Now, can they make an appointment with you online?
They can call our office, 256-858-4822. They can go online to coolhuntsville.com, get our phone number there, or schedule the appointment right there online.
So it's the Toni and Gary tune-up special.
That's right.
$79.
$79 right now.
At Thomas HVAC.
This is 800 and 1230 WBHP, the Valley's Big Talker.
All right, we're back, and it's time to announce today's big prize winner. And Madison Mayor-elect Paul Finley has the name.
And the name is Bobby Rucker.
Woohoo, Bobby!
All right.
Way to go, Bobby!
A whole bunch of prizes in there today.
There's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of prizes every day, but we had even more. By the way, Tate Farms was included in that one, too.
Nice.
A 4-pack to Tate Farms.
Wow.
So today we're looking for a high of 73, sunny, and sunny 74 tomorrow. Guys, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you having us.
I couldn't do it by myself, that's for sure. All right, well, we'll see you guys on tomorrow, Friday. Let's see, we have Mayor Finley will be here tomorrow, Carrie Rosenblum will be here tomorrow, and Jimmy Boy will be here tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Ed Henry, Representative Ed Henry, will be here at 7:30 as well.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye, y'all.
Glenn Beck follows Fox News on WBHP Huntsville, WHOS Decatur, and WDRM FM HD2 Decatur, an iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Details out on the shooting spree at a South Carolina elementary school yesterday. A volunteer firefighter being credited with stopping the teen. Police say shot and wounded 2 students and a teacher. The county coroner saying the suspect's grandparents discovered his father dead.
They go into the house, they find their son has been shot, and their grandson's not there.
The teen now in custody. New research suggests that using some common painkillers on a regular basis may be tied to a greater risk of heart failure. The drugs, called NSAIDs, include ibuprofen and naproxen.
The findings are based on about 10 million painkiller users in Britain, the Netherlands, Italy, and Germany. The study is published right now in the British Medical Journal.
Cheryl Clisoni with the Fox Business Network. And our economy grew at a 1.4% rate in the spring, slightly better than the previous estimate. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So on Tuesday, just one night after the first presidential debate, Donald Trump had a massive rally in Melbourne, Florida. 15,000 people attended the rally, and about 15,000 more had to be turned away. Now, why are those numbers so important? Because according to the Gateway Pundit, in just one night, Donald Trump had to turn away the total number of people who actually attended Hillary rallies since August 1st. Now, since August 1st, when both parties' conventions concluded, Trump has had more than 312,000 people at his events, with thousands turned away due to space limitations. He's set records for some of these locations in terms of attendance. Hillary, she's a total of 12,000 at her rally since August 1st. Now, unfortunately for Hillary, her Tuesday rally led to a crowd of 1,400 people. Yes, Americans were not too impressed with her robotic, great debate performance.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, you've got some pretty important choices to make this fall. One of them is window treatments to decorate your home for the holidays and into the new year. My house looks so much better because we use Blinds.com for every room, and it has transformed our home. Just go to Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. You'll get a 20% discount off their already low prices now through September the 30th. That's Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. See Blinds.com for details. Hey, everybody's got a to-do list. Drop everything off the dry cleaning, pick up some milk. Here's an idea. Let's save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Now, the good thing is you don't have to drop off anything or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, well, you can be saving 15% or more on car insurance. Maybe you need extra money in your pocket. It just may be the most rewarding thing you do today. Now, it's that easy. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance. Just go to
The IRS is the most feared agency in the world. You've heard ads from other companies offering to help taxpayers only if they owe over $10,000. Here at Platinum Tax Defenders, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and we're proud to be one of the only tax firms in the country who understands that people who owe less than $10,000 need help just as badly. The IRS doesn't care how much money you owe. They'll still garnish your wages and even seize your assets. So whether you owe just a few $1,000s or hundreds of thousands, call now for your free tax consultation. If you qualify, we may even be able to reduce your tax debt down to a small fraction of what you owe. So don't wait until the IRS seizes your property and garnishes your wages. Call 800-908-4773 and get your tax problem resolved once and for all. That number again is 800-908-4773. 800-908-4773.
iHeartRadio connects you to all of your favorite music and radio stations in one free app. This fall, we give you even more control of how you listen to the radio. Save the music you love on the radio directly to your playlist.
Replay.
Immediately replay songs and sing along again.
Play.
Search and play any song from our library of 30 million tracks.
Skips.
Enjoy unlimited skips.
Offline.
Save the music from your favorite stations offline and listen without an internet connection. Introducing iHeartRadio All Access. Coming this fall. Your radio, now on demand.